And Shayla's first
Love.
last name is what?
It's not bullshit, okay? It's real talk is facts.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Debate with Bait podcast brought to you by Mo Serious Entertainment at moserious.com. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. A round of applause. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Debate with Bake. Yeah, it's special because my man, my co-host, I would say he kind of ran out on me, but nah, shout out to my man Cole. He's out tonight. He had some mouth surgery, so he couldn't talk. And when he on Debate with Bake with me, if you ain't functioning all the way through when it comes to talking, you might as well not even get on here with me. But shout out to Cole, man. I hope you watching. Get well soon, baby. We looking forward to having you back next week. We had a great weekend of sports. Shout out to the Mo Serious family, Mo City Podcast, Guns Down, Gloves Up with Johnny Binder, aka Dr. Jeremiah and Dr. Candace. To that whole Mo Serious family, to Chuck, the number one producer, label head in the business, to the first lady of Mo Serious. That's right, Chuck, give yourself a round of applause. That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, you can check out this lineup we just talked about on moserious.com. We got merch. We got all these different podcasts and everything that's going on with the Mo Serious family. Shout out to Shayla. We're looking forward for you coming back, my female co-host. Let me get a round of applause for that too, Chuck. Yeah, y'all need to check out that episode, man. I'm hoping and praying that she roll with us because we had a great episode last week. You know what I'm saying? And just hope you come back, baby girl. We miss you and we need you. But without further ado, y'all know I wouldn't just be up here by myself, man. Like I had to find another co-host, and I'm hoping this young man will also join the team of Debate with Bait podcast or sit in like he's doing tonight. But for those who don't know, you should know because he being on the chat. We respect his sports opinion, but we got co-hosting with your boy Bake tonight, Larry, aka Roll Evans. Roll, what's up, Larry? What's up, man?
What's the deal, everybody? Hey, we in here today.
We in here today, man. So Larry gonna help me get through a couple of topics. We may debate a little bit, but we basically gonna get on some topics and break some things down. But again, check us out at moserious.com. You can also call in if you want to at 281-969-8190. And please support the Mo Serious family as we get into the sports center of moserious.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can also come in on the chat if you want to say something on the chat. Introduce yourself if you haven't been here. If you already been here, we're going to shout you out. We know we're going to talk to you. We're going to ask some questions if you want to call in. But if you want to chat, you can do that too. But get in with us on a special episode of Debate with Bake here. But let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. What a great weekend of sports, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it be football, we're going to get into the NFL first, but we had a lot of big things happen free agent-wise. There's a lot of topics out there. Of course, we couldn't get to all of them, but we'll get to some of them. Great weekend of NBA basketball. And yes, my favorite event of the times of the year, the NCAA basketball tournament is coming up. Hopefully me, Chuck, we're going to sit down and talk about maybe a bracket or something where you all can come in, maybe even do a show on a selection show.
Yeah, we got to do the brackets. That's why I texted you and Cole. I said, okay, we got to do some brackets for Debate with Bake just to see who bracket's going to last, right?
That's right. That, and I'm always excited about U of H, the hometown team. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give them a shout out later. That's right. Shout out to the University of Houston Cougars, man, a #1 seed in the NCAA, regular season champs in the Big 12, but we're going to get to that later. But let's get into the NFL football, man. There's a lot of things going on with free agency, but we'll get into that later. But let's get into some hot topics, man. I've been looking around the sports world when it comes to the NFL, you know, both on other talk shows and podcasts. What's the hot topics? But, you know, a team that I don't necessarily like, but I gotta respect. Let me say that again. I don't like this team, but I respect how they move. The Dallas Cowboys roll. But the Cowboys are looking to extend Dak Prescott. Now, why is this such a topic for debate with Bake? Because there's always talks about Dak Prescott, man. Like everybody, especially these Cowboy fans, roll, they always saying how good the Cowboys are. And it's always speculations about Dak. Should he gotten this money that they gave him? You know, many people say there's times in the regular season where he looks like an elite quarterback, but once again, the same result happens, Ro. Get to the playoffs, first round look good, second round get blown out by a team that most people think they should win. But
yes, sir.
If you, Jerry Jones, if you, Mike McCarthy, you the front office of the Dallas Cowboys, is this a good idea to extend Dak Prescott? What do you think? What would you do if you was the Cowboys?
Now, I give it to you on both sides. Now, you keep him and wait for him to turn the corner at some point because everybody knows his track record and he's proven he's gonna wet the bed, so to speak, come playoff time at some point or another until they turn the corner. I mean, you know, it's whether you want to wait or not to find out how much it's gonna cost you, or depending on what you can get now, I mean, you got to factor in learning a new coordinator, another guy, bringing in another guy implies, you know, another system. It's a whole lot of pieces that, you know, have to be, they have to align in order for you to get optimal success, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you look around the division, the Eagles got a stranglehold on that division right now. You know, I mean, Washington is in a rebuild. The Giants in a rebuild. Saquon is gone. Right. But we're going to come to that. Yeah. You know, I mean, you could blow it up now if you want, or you could continue to try to chip away for that division, but it's going to be tough. So I'd say you stick with what you got now and give it a few more. If it costs you no more than 3 or 4. But yeah,
so you say roll with him. You saying so the Cowboys might as well extend, and you saying if you're gonna extend with Dak, no more than 3 or 4 years at the most.
Yeah.
And see, that's interesting because I'm kind of leaning that way. But for me, this is the thing. If I'm the Cowboys, and this is what I tell people all the time about Dak Prescott. The Cowboys and everybody got to understand this about Dak Prescott. Is he an elite quarterback? No. But at the end of the day, you got to realize, let's break down what he really is, because I think people need to understand if you understand what he is, then you don't have such a hard time trying to get rid of him. So I do agree with you. I think you keep him. But what the Cowboys have to understand is this. What is he? And what I mean by what is he is he's not an elite quarterback. And you got to accept that. And what I mean by that is too many times the Cowboys, much like Cowboy fans, think, okay, we can just give him 1 or 2 receivers, an okay running back, a solid offensive line with a stout defense. And my whole thing to that is this. It's like you can't expect Dak Prescott to take you to the promised land with minimal people around him. And what I mean by that is I always go to the example of the Rams. Remember when the Rams won the Super Bowl not too long ago? I think, was it Jared Goff that was their quarterback, or was it
Stafford?
It was Stafford. Okay, they got Stafford over from Detroit. Now, what I liked about the Rams, and I think Cowboy fans should remember this, and I've said this a lot of times on previous shows on this podcast, what the Rams did, they went out, they got a middle of a pack quarterback, which I think Dak is. I think he's in the middle. And they surrounded him with top-notch talent. They loaded up on the running backs. They loaded up on the receivers. They made a stout defense. And they spent the money that they needed to do to where All Stafford had to do was just game manage because they understood what he was.
Not if it up.
Right, exactly, basically. And that's what you do with a middle of the pack running quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't just, how many people, let's talk about elite quarterbacks. Mahomes, we can agree with that. Burrow, maybe. Allen,
He's
maybe.
Down. He's down.
But let's just say Mahomes. Mahomes is the best.
In the class of his
right.
Right.
Where Mahomes doesn't need a stout running back. Don't necessarily need a Tyreek Hill. He's proven that. Now, he does have a Kelsey. He's got a defense that's a bend and don't break. But again, he's an elite quarterback. You can interchange different pieces and things with him, and he can make it go. He can make the offense go.
I'd say the best word is he's a game breaker.
Right.
He's a game changer.
Right.
Period. You know,
and right. And to add to that, basically, my basic point is he don't need a lot to make things work. Okay. Cowboy fans and people around the NFL got to understand Dak Prescott is not that.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. And again, people got to remember this. It's not that many quarterbacks like that anyway in the NFL. You can't just say, hey, we're going to give you one receiver. We're going to give you an okay running back, a stout defense, and that's it. No, you got to load up if you're going to win with that. So my whole thing to the Cowboys and to the Cowboy Nation, I think you should extend. But the Cowboys need to build a stout offense around him. I think with a stout offense where he doesn't have to do too much outside of what he can do well, he'll be fine. And then another point to this, to this whole topic is this. Dallas, they have to remember this, that it's not easy to get a quarterback that you feel comfortable with. It's not easy to just bring a quarterback in and say, okay, boom, we're going to get rid of Dak and we're going to bring somebody else in, fit him with this offensive coordinator. When you bring in a new quarterback, now you're talking about different philosophy, different skill set,
different tendencies, all of that.
Yeah, and it might take you 3 or 4 years to get used to offensive coordinators and quarterbacks matching together, systems matching together. So if you get rid of Dak Prescott right now, who's out there? I mean, yeah, we just found out, we'll talk about that. Wilson is going to Pittsburgh. We're talking about available free agent quarterbacks.
List is dwindling.
Right. And so who you going to bring in? You know, who you going to bring in?
And not have to wait 5 years.
Exactly. And you're going to basically have to start over. And so what? The Cowboys were 12-5 last year? I mean, he's done well in the regular season. So for me, I got to look at my organization if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and say, okay, what can we do when we get to the playoffs? Which means I think by committee, you build that team.
Definitely.
And so I do think they should extend them. I do agree that it should maybe be, 4 years. Man, 3 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 3, maybe 4.
And my comfort for the Cowboy Nation, man, is really not on Dak like that.
Exactly.
You got to look at Mike McCarthy.
Exactly.
You got to look at a lot of people. I mean, it's
That's my
easy to
point.
blame Dak, and
Right.
Dak just out there running plays.
Exactly.
Are they good plays? Or are they bad plays?
Right, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That is exactly my point, because at the end of the day, you got to be real with what he is. You know what I'm saying? And most quarterbacks can't just go out there and do it. I mean, even in the history of the NFL, every season, it's maybe 1 or 2 quarterbacks that you can say, here, we're going to give you a subpar running back, subpar receiving core, subpar defense, take us to the Super Bowl, take us to the AFC, NFC championship. So I do think they should extend them. It's not the popular. And I think another thing, too, people got to remember this, it's Cowboy Nation. It's the quarterback. So when they don't win, or when they don't meet expectations of their fans, no matter how crazy the expectations may be, you play for the Dallas Cowboys, you're the quarterback. They don't win, they're going to blame the quarterback.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. It ain't like playing for the Cardinals. Ain't nobody blaming Kyler Murray. The pressure ain't there. And the pressure ain't there. The pressure ain't there for Kyler Murray that it is for Dak, Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no disrespect to Kyler, one of the best quarterbacks in Texas high school football history. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking a shot at you, Kyler, but let's just be real. If the Cardinals ain't winning, they ain't saying, man, it's all Kyler's fault. You know what I'm saying?
They say my man be out there looking like a little bad kid running around.
Hey, Kylie, you do look like you're a high school.
That's
you skilled.
Use it as much as you can.
Yeah. You skilled though, because the defenses can't see you, but you're skilled. But at the end of the day, Larry fired me up for that. Y'all, I had to take a shot too. But no,
we love you, Kyle.
Right, exactly. But at the end of the day, Dallas got a Cowboy Nation. Everybody got to realize that you went 12-5. He is a good regular season quarterback. To me, you keep him, and to me, you just got to win by committee. You can't put everything on Dak Prescott. Why would you even draft him or trade for him if you thought you could put everything on his shoulders? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think you should extend him. He's done his job as much as he can. But at the end of the day, he's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. He's not top 10, but he's right behind the top 10.
Kind of reminds you of their last guy. Who was the last guy? Wasn't it Romo? Romo did about the same thing in the playoffs every year. Right. Hey, look, this ain't nothing new. It look like the same thing.
And so again, that's another.
Come on, D-Time.
Yeah, that's another good thing. That's what I'm saying. Dallas might have to look at what they doing, because some people I say, Jerry Jones, I know you're the owner, but maybe it's time to give up that GM hat. I'm just saying.
Got that old man out there crying. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
Jerry be out there crying. I be like, Jerry.
Because people got to realize this. Jerry, you got to realize this. The one common denominator, y'all not making a Super Bowl in the last 20 years. The same person that's been there since the 90s. Everybody else gone. Jimmy gone. Michael Irvin gone. Romo gone. Bill Parcells gone.
Aikman gone.
Everybody gone. Who's still there? And who been the GM? But, you can't argue. He the owner. What you going to do? So, I don't know. I don't know, man. But Cowboy Nation, go ahead and bring Dak back and, fix the team around it. All right, let's get to the next topic, because we're going to stay in the NFL. This is, it's so much things going on right now in the NFL as far as free agency. But let's talk about these wide receivers. All right. So I got a list here, Larry. And everybody in the chat, if you want to call in, you can get in on the chat. You can call in at 281-969-8190. Again, if you want to call in, you can call in at 281-969-8190. All right. The question is today, who would you want your favorite team out of the following to pick up? These are the best wide receiver fits in free agency currently, right now, in the spring of 2024. You got Michael Pittman Jr., Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley, and Marquise Hollywood Brown. Okay. First of all, Larry, your favorite team. Let's talk about your favorite team. And what do you think? And maybe it's another wide receiver out there other than these. These are my top 4 that I saw in free agency. But let's talk about your favorite team. Let's talk about the quarterback. Let's talk about the system. And let's talk about which one of these guys or any other guy that you think would fit.
All right. I would have rocked with my hat and everything else, but I had to wear the bucket low, so as we know, South Side, Houston, Texas guy.
Okay.
So we real proud with the landing of Mr. CJ. CJ Stroud here is a big deal right now. We punching high.
Yeah.
We like Lil Mac and punch out. But we go hard though. But as far as the list goes, it was tough to see Mike Evans sign with Tampa, re-signed with Tampa. I would have liked to have seen him come home. He's the kind of tried and true guy. And it's like, it was funny. I was thinking about it. It's like Tampa Bay keep a guy like that. For him, it was like Keyshawn. It was Mike Williams. It was somebody else before that. They always keep that big possession, got that big body possession receiver, throwback guy that everybody can really use. What does Mike Evans do but produce year in, year out the same way?
That's right.
And to see him paired up with CJ at this particular point, I think would have been great in terms of just another target, another weapon. You feel me? Another weapon, just to go ahead and use somebody sure-handed. Because Nico, we loaded. Don't get me wrong. We loaded already. That's why adding a talent like that wouldn't rock the boat necessarily, because it's like after that, I'd have to go ahead and go with like a Calvin Ridley, because Calvin Ridley got them intangibles. And it's like I can envision a lineup where Tank Dell's back, you got Nico Collins on another end, and then you got Ridley in that slot, and it's like, that's dangerous, depending on what back you got back there, and then whoever you got back there, CJ has proven already he will get you the ball. Right. So that's how I would rock next. You know, I mean, if need be, because Hollywood Brown just a little too small for me. The 5'9" speedsters like that, you're gonna stay on the injured list, and it's like you can't really next man up that skill set. You know what I'm saying? It's like you bringing that Mike Vick intangible. You Hollywood. I mean, it only happened one time. You know,
right.
So
you would ride with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Okay. I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Because Pittman I like, but he's got more miles on. There's more tread on the tires, but. Something I don't like what he be doing. I ain't gonna lie. That's just me.
For me, I had Evans and Ridley at the top. I agree with you on Marquise Brown. I think Tank. I think we got enough speed. And again, people don't take this wrong because it's like you sound crazy, Bake. Yeah, the more speed you have, you can never really run out of speed. But it's just like for me, for Marquise Hollywood Brown, it's like we taking the same receiver and we have that same skill set already. You know what I'm saying? I would love Mike Evans. I mean, he's on the top list as far as the most 1,000-yard seasons amongst receivers. I think he's right behind Jerry Rice. Hall of Famer for sure. And just because I want to see CJ with a big time receiver. Of course, running back, of course, Saquon signed with Philly. I was talking to Chuck before you came in. I really wanted Saquon, but I feel like because of the state of the offense and the game of the NFL, you need receivers more than you need running backs. But I really wanted Mike Evans. I really, really wanted Mike Evans. But being that he's gone, I would have to say Ridley. No disrespect to Pittman. I just think he can be replaced. I think Mike Evans and Calvin Ridley stick out on this list. With Ridley, you get a big-time possession receiver. You get a receiver that, if need be, can go over the top. And I think at the end of the day, for me, you put Ridley on this team. What does the opposing secondary do? You see what I'm saying? Because
spread them real thin.
Yeah, and our receivers, Tank Dell and the rest of those guys had a great season. And what I mean, let me not say great, good. Well, no, I can say great because they exceeded my expectations. I had the Texans.
Everybody's expectations.
I had the Texans winning 3 games this year. So let me not give credit when credit is due. But for me, as much as, and I got a chance to watch the Texans live this year twice. I went to the games this year twice, and to see the way that the quarterback can place the ball, where he was putting the ball, as much as he throws the ball. Imagine having Ridley or Evans. Let's go with Ridley since, like you said, Evans is gone. He's going back to Tampa Bay. But imagine having Ridley on one side. You're going to have to double team him. Okay, which means you leave the rest of those receivers who had the season they had this year on one-on-one coverage. It's a nightmare with the type of quarterback, and you got the quarterback. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I personally think he should have got some MVP votes this year.
Yes, sir.
Of course, we're going to give it to Lamar.
Only because he's a rookie.
Right. Of course, he was the offensive rookie of the year. But when I look at what he was doing, his production, how he was moving that ball, and I'm biased. We biased. We in this city, we see it all the time. But I do think, hands down, any year, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Ridley. It's got to be Ridley.
We got to get Ridley from Jacksonville.
Exactly.
We don't need him out there.
Exactly. Because you don't want him in the same. And that's the thing. It's like, man, with Jacksonville, I mean, he's a free agent. But it's like, are you going to let him go to another team in the division? But he's a free agent.
What can you do?
Right. Now, let me say this. On the flip side of this topic, can't speak for Evans, but for Pittman, Ridley, and now maybe Hollywood. If I'm them though, if I got a chance to get down to Houston for what I seen, and this kid is young,
I'm going.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than Hollywood, and again, me and you, we all agree that Hollywood is last on this list for us. But it's like T. Higgins is still out there. He been saying great things about CJ. The shine that he didn't get. And I think Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. I'm still taking CJ. And that ain't got nothing to do with city bias.
No disrespect. Yeah,
no disrespect. Burrow has done great. I just don't think he has the skill set of a CJ.
We're going to have to go through him.
Exactly.
We're going to have to go through him.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, Cincinnati, God, I mean, who's there? Higgins. What's the other kids? Chase. Right. So I'm thinking Higgins probably thinks that he's a number one receiver, and there's not enough balls in Cincinnati. But I mean, you got Ridley. I just thought about Higgins. Like, if I'm them guys, I'm trying to get to Houston. I got a young quarterback. I got a young head coach.
We gonna do some things.
We gonna do some things. Like any other quarterback in the NFL, can you think about that's on a better trajectory than CJ Stroud right now? I mean, other than the Mahomes, Lamars.
Because the other kid they were mentioning with him in Indianapolis with the Richardson guy that went down for the year, and the other kid with Bryce Young.
Right.
He's a little jewel of this draft. I mean, these quarterbacks only come around so often. Right. How Houston did it twice, I really don't have any idea. Because to escape the fiasco with Deshaun was everything, and be right back here right now with a first-year head coach.
Right.
We good. It's good down. It's ace time.
And
baby. Come on down.
And here's the thing. You bring up Deshaun, and that does deserve a round of applause. But you bring up Deshaun, and the scary part that I do, and I hate bringing this up, but I got to say it. We've been fortunate, but I'm sitting here saying, and I hate to do this, but I got to say it, CJ might be better than Deshaun.
Yeah, I stand on business. He murking Deshaun. Yeah, all the way honest. Now, and Deshaun,
I'm just saying, skill for skill.
How many years we
murking though?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Because Deshaun was a different type of athlete, type of quarterback.
Better, but murking.
But then, mind you, that's the same draft that Pat Mahomes came out. Billy O'Brien lost his job and behind that, because he was like, "Look, I wanted Pat." And they were like, "Well, look, we got you, we got you, Deshaun." And it was good for the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, but I mean, Chuck, let's just think about it. And I can see both ways, because I can see what Larry's saying, kind of murking. And what we mean by murking, for those of y'all who ain't from the South, is better than. Way better than. Not comparable to.
Yes.
That's what murking mean, because shout out to all my people up in the East Coast with Cole. Y'all know y'all try to clown. Y'all know what we saying, but y'all try to clown like, well, what they mean, son, all that. Yeah, that's for you, Cole. Way better than, all right? But yeah, it's an all-South crew tonight, Cole. That's right, an all-Southern crew tonight. Shout out to my
Worldwide South Side, man. Worldwide South Side. Shout out to my man Cole, man. We miss you tonight, New York. But back to the discussion though. But it's like I just want to go into that a little bit, because I love Deshaun Watson, man. For me, Deshaun Watson, when I think about him versus CJ, I think Deshaun was probably, I'm not going to say probably, he was the better overall athlete. When you talk about 3rd down and 5, he probably was more of a threat in short yardage plays, as far as being able to keep the defense that dimension. Keep the defense honest with being able to run and throw. Not saying that CJ can't, but as far as overall a passer, CJ I think he's way better accuracy-wise. And I just think he's a more pure quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over.
Right. Right. And I say he's more of a pure quarterback, to say what you say about patience. When I'm talking about quarterback, I'm talking about being able to read the field on a timely fashion, being able to get the ball there, you know what I'm saying, accurately to the receiver, being able – Deshaun at times for me didn't throw the ball well.
No, it was frenetic. It was real, improvisational.
Right. But as far as an athlete, yes, Deshaun is a better athlete. But for me, when I see CJ Stroud, I see a young man that's been able to come in and command the offense more than I've seen in a lot of young players. I mean, and what I mean by command the offense, I watched him in a series when Cleveland came here in the regular season, where Not the Cleveland game. It was another game because he was out that game. It was another game. I cannot remember for the life of me. It might have been the playoff. No, it wasn't a playoff game. It was one game I went to where he was playing, and it was, I want to say it was the game where they didn't have a kicker. The kicker got hurt.
Oh,
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It was Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But I watched him the whole drive. 5-yard pass, 10-yard slant.
Yeah, they was playing your boy Baker.
Yeah, they was playing Baker.
On the money.
Right.
On the money.
10-yard pass, 5-yard pass, throw the ball away when necessary.
Stop the clock. Yeah,
Stop the clock. On the goal line situation, put the ball to where it's either his receiver gets it or nobody gets it. Roll out to the pocket, roll out the pocket. I just saw so many different things in one possession when I'm like, for most quarterbacks that come in,
this is year 5, year 6, year
there you
7.
go. Exactly.
Stuff
it's
like,
stuff like
that.
And I'm just sitting there watching Tampa Bay. Right. And I'm sitting there watching Tampa Bay going, that's the complete thing about this kid is like, there's nothing you can do that makes him uncomfortable. And I watched him, what I use the phrase, quarterback a full drive, where the defense couldn't sit there and say, okay, we're going to take away this. Every time they took away something, he took what they gave him. When they took away that, so to see him command like that,
it's Mahomes-ish.
Right. It was Mahomes, exactly, or whatever great quarterback we want to use.
And then, but let this go into consideration too with that one. Deshaun Watson got drafted into a different situation than this kid did.
Right.
Look at our roster and the expectations that we have. People said we were the 30th most talented roster in the league at that point before this kid took the field. And by week 6, week 7, D'Amico, coach of the year.
Yeah.
And this dude, MVP, ain't turned the ball over yet. CJ is it.
Yeah.
CJ is it.
And again, let me just add to what you said. He didn't turn the ball over.
Man, that was huge, fam.
That's
he
the
went
thing.
like what was it, 17, 18 touchdowns before he finally had a pick.
And again, just watching him on drives. I mean, it took me by surprise that he wasn't trying to force plays.
He's comfortable.
Yeah. And so I do think he's a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. I do think Deshaun Watson is a better athlete. And shout out to him because we're going to go straight to Cleveland after that. Matter of fact, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. But the Broncos and the Browns agreed to a deal that sent wide receiver Jerry Jeudy to Cleveland in exchange for 2 draft picks. Now, this is crazy to me. And I want to get our thoughts on this. And I think Jerry Jeudy is one of the best wide receivers in the league. Now, when I say that, there's not a lot of stats that support that, but there are plays. There are situations where we've seen him, he's explosive.
He's as talented as Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he's up there. I think that's a great comparison. And so, but he just hadn't lived up to it because of the quarterback situation in Denver. Now, for me, just seeing Russell Wilson go to Pittsburgh, which we'll talk about later, showing me that Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos are starting over.
They're blowing it up.
And so, but for Cleveland, you get a full season. Just got through talking about Deshaun Watson. You get a full season back.
Amari Cooper. Jerry Jeudy on the depth chart now. That tight end in the Njoku.
Yeah.
Chubb coming back.
Exactly.
They're going to bring back Kareem Hunt. And then all that is still in a stacked up AFC North.
And and here's the thing. Other than the Texans, to me, they're the other team that overachieved this season. They lost like 3 or 4 quarterbacks.
And one with Joe Flacco.
Flacco was he
comeback player
of the year? I think it was Myles Garrett, defensive player of the year. And just the fact, I'm big on adversity. And Cleveland went through a lot of adversity this year. And for them to get to the playoffs and do what they did, I'm high on Cleveland. So now you get Deshaun Watson back healthy, or whatever quarterback they're gonna have. They've shown that they can roll with either quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. They probably could put me back there. You know what I'm saying? The way they've been playing.
I'm gonna go 5 for 10.
Right, exactly. And I think the coach got coach of the year or something like that too. But to add Jerry Jeudy to this mix First of all, let me ask you this, Larry. Chuck, you get in on this too. And if you all want to call in, call at 281-969-8190. Again, get in. You can call. You can get in on the chat. We see a couple of people on the chat. What's up, Mallet? What's up? What's up, John? What's up, little Laro, little brother? Everybody. But don't be afraid to comment on this. Who we got there? Jamal Jones?
Yeah, that's the homie. What's up, G? What's up, G?
That's why we gotta have Laro on.
Hey, we worldwide Southside. We gonna bring them out, man. We bringing them out.
That's right.
Bringing them out.
But yeah, back to Cleveland. So let's just look at Cleveland with this pickup. Made it to the playoffs this year. One of the most improved squads, other than Houston, in the AFC and the whole NFL. What do you think? All right, let's talk about the division. Does Cleveland win a division with this? Because that's a tough division in the AFC North. Yeah, if everything goes, let's just hypothetically speak. Everything they build off what they did last year.
For football,
AFC North. You got the Browns,
Baltimore.
You got the Browns. You got the Ravens. You got Pittsburgh, and you got Cincinnati. Burrow's coming back in Cincinnati.
Strong too.
Lamar is going to be Lamar. If Russell Wilson, if that is official, I don't know if it's official.
I like him. I go on a limb. I like him. Right. Well, you know what? Yeah, Pittsburgh will be more competitive, but I see them winning the division.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah. No.
Cleveland?
Cleveland. I can see Cleveland winning the division. I see Baltimore in that wild card for sure. I see Pittsburgh making a push for the other spot. Pittsburgh made the playoffs this year, didn't they?
They had 3 teams in the playoffs this year.
Oh, that's right.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
Oh, so they going. They sending 3. They sending 3.
But what do you think?
Cincinnati.
Burrow's back.
Is actually going to jump Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a fight.
AFC
to be
North
honest,
is going to be stacked, right?
That's a fight, to be honest. And the injury report is how that's going to stack up. In my humble, it's going to be good to see.
So you think Cleveland can win the division?
I think they've got enough. And then they've got the intangibles. Their defense is nasty. Garrett goes understated.
That defense is why they excelled last year. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
All them quarterbacks, that defense got them there.
And they've been in the hunt, and think about it. Teams from that division have been in the Super Bowl. They've won the conference. They, like I said, they've had a lack on it. If not for Pat, the champs would have been coming from the AFC North. All of them, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
I think for me, right now, I'm just talking about right now. Right now, as of March 2024, I think the Browns, to me, the Browns are as far as what they're doing right now, as far as what's coming back, I think I got them as the top of the AFC North. And no disrespect to Baltimore. I think Baltimore will be Baltimore.
The MVP?
To me, for Baltimore, it's related to Lamar. And this is why I say this. Well, I'm going to say 2 things. Me and Chuck talked about this before we got on the air. If they land Derrick Henry, which they're talking to right now in Baltimore, and for me, it's got to be Lamar. And what I mean by Lamar is I felt like Lamar, I think everything is in his hands. And what I mean by that is when they played Kansas City, Kansas City would never beat themselves. Lamar didn't be Lamar. He didn't
do enough to win,
And the thing about it is what I mean by that is Lamar for years has got in his mind, and he's just coming off his 2nd MVP. He's got in his mind that he wants to prove that he's a pocket passer, which is fine. He's done that. But what he did against Kansas City this year is sometimes you just got to be who you are. He stopped running.
Yeah.
Don't stop running. The Ravens are the best when he does both, when he throws and run. I think he kind of sat in the pocket too much against Kansas City.
Definitely.
Just be Lamar, because that's what Mahomes does. Definitely. Now, again, Lamar's battling with a lot. The whole mantra of I'm the black quarterback and everybody think I got to run, and he trying to debunk that whole meaning. I get that. You've done that. Just be you. If they not Kansas City and nobody can stop you 3rd and 5 if you're doing both. So it also depends on Baltimore. But I think for what the Browns have shown us, with a healthy quarterback coming back, with this move, and we don't know what other moves they're gonna do. I would say right now, I got them with this move, and again, the other moves, I got them at the top of the AFC North.
Yeah.
I don't know what Pittsburgh is. I know Pittsburgh's gonna be competitive. I mean, if they were able to get to the playoffs, who was the quarterback last year with
Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett?
Right? They made it to the playoffs, but
they came in here and they might have beat us. Did they beat us?
I don't know if did we play them this year? We might have.
Know if we played Pittsburgh.
I can't remember. But at the end of the day, I think Cleveland is the team that's headed upward, and I think this pickup is good. If I'm Watson, we out there right now.
Right.
We running routes. We getting familiar. We doing Tom Brady in the pandemic. We going to the park. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the only thing that can stop them is that they haven't played enough together. This is a brand new team, but I'm out there. I like this move, man.
What did Amari Cooper give us? Like 300 yards?
Yeah.
Amari Cooper came out there and did that with Flacco.
Yeah.
And I was at that game.
Oh, that was tough. That was tough.
And see, here's the thing. Speaking of Cooper, what does he look like with another top receiver on the other side?
You can't double him. Like you can't double him
what
over
you
the
gonna
top,
do with Cleveland? You see what I'm saying? If you're a secondary. So, I don't know. And then, again, I think the Broncos, Sean Payton, I just think he's starting over. I don't think Russell Wilson was his guy. The fact that he's getting rid of Judy, I mean, I don't understand that, but he's cleaned the house, so we don't know what they're going to be in the AFC West. I doubt if they do anything, but this move for me is bigger for Cleveland than anything.
Yeah, because even like you said, when them blowing it up, even it didn't make sense because it's like I read it's more dead cap space than ever in NFL history. To blow it up at that point, sound like it was more going on behind. It's more to that, you know. I mean, and boy, all the stories are not fit for the headline. So who knows? Like y'all get to spin that a little bit,
I know, and I'm over here talking bad about him, and I'm sitting over here with this Broncos hat on. You know what I'm saying?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I know. Don't that make me look like a hypocrite? You know what I'm saying? I know they was gonna kill me in the chat or kill me in the comments, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. So you can't talk about me because I'm talking about myself. This hat matched my shoes, all right? Shout out to the Denver Broncos. Shout out to the Broncos of the 80s. Yeah. John Elway with the orange, Smith. with the blue, the blue D with the Bronco inside.
McCaffrey daddy.
Yeah. That's what killed me about that. I did not know that was his daddy, Ed McCaffrey, with the Terrell Davis and all that. So, yeah, shout out to the Broncos, man. I like y'all colors, but I don't know what y'all doing out there in Mile High, but I know they want to win out there because Shannon Sharp was talking bad about them.
Man, Elway, let's see now.
I know, exactly. But all right, that's enough about the Broncos. We do think that Cleveland, this is a big move for Cleveland. All right, let's get into it, these quarterbacks. And speaking of Cleveland, a former quarterback of Cleveland, that's of course, and I have been a big critic of this quarterback, Baker Mayfield, who used to be in Cleveland. That's one of the reasons why I'm one of his biggest critics, because I felt like they gave him everything and he didn't do nothing in Cleveland. But that's for a whole nother discussion. Shout out to Cole, because Cole think he like the next Joe Montana. You know what I'm saying?
Some kind of way him, the Manziel. It's like say they got the draft every Cleveland bus.
Exactly. So you probably know what I'm going to lean toward in this next question. But let's get into this debate a little bit. So who, in your opinion, is the better free agent quarterback? Now, of course, one of them. And the two choices here is Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield. Now, it looks like Mayfield is going back to Tampa Bay, which they gave him a pretty good contract, which, like, they really, really like him. I don't see it. I know they've improved, but I don't know, man. But Baker Mayfield's going back, and Kirk Cousins just signed with the Atlanta Falcons. I did not see that coming. I thought Minnesota would bring him back, but I understand why Minnesota would let him go. They're probably looking for a new start. I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's underrated. He's got the stats of a Hall of Famer. We talked about this before in a previous show. But in your opinion, Laro, Chuck, the chat, let's start with you, Laro. Who is the better free agent quarterback?
Kirk Cousins, easy.
Easy, right?
Easy. Kirk Cousins is a quarterback. Baker Mayfield, one of those guys that stuck around and put the work in and got a good situation. And it's like, much love to you, Baker. No knock it out. But I'm a UT dude, I don't do OU like that. I heard you talking about the Astros. I don't like a lot of what you got going on, Baker. That's just how it is. So, put that where you want it. But Kirk, You ain't never won nothing from me. You know what I'm saying? You're a one-trick regular season opponent. You got some nice regular season stats. I can remember you in Washington doing all right. I remember you in Minnesota doing all right. Atlanta gonna be a different ball game for you, but this might expose you. But outside of that, get your money, man. You've been making money along.
Now, would you agree?
You've been stealing money, wow. But hey, man, I can dig it. It ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do.
So I'm trying to get this. Hey,
shout out to Kirk Cousins, man. That's my boy.
Hey,
man.
And Jamal Jones, man, put up your choice. You might have Jamal Jones. You've been on the track, man. Shout out to you. But who in your opinion is the better free agent quarterback out of Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins? Now, Laro said Kirk Cousins. Now, let me ask you this, which I do agree. I've been on this show. I hate to say it, but the truth is the truth. I have been a Baker Mayfield hater. But just to say, all right, what you said about Kirk Cousins is exactly how I feel about Dak. Don't you think Kirk he's not the same skill set, but as far as rack up a lot of regular season yards, can get you to the playoffs, can win a division.
I gotta disagree with you.
Hold on. Hear me out.
Right.
Can win a regular season division. And Kirk has done the same thing. Second round of the playoffs, maybe NFC championship. Don't you think he's a middle of the pack quarterback? As far as Dak,
I do. As far as that, but see, he ain't never shit the bed like that. You know, Dak turned about that. Dak will fuck it up.
But you don't think Kirk did the same thing?
No. I ain't never seen him smoke a game.
Oh,
I think about it. Wasn't Kirk the quarterback in when they hit Stephon Diggs and they beat New Orleans in the playoffs or something like that?
But I'm saying, but see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say it's because of the team. Kirk Cousins has done the same thing,
but he's not. He's Brock Purdy, 1.0. He's the, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's not bad, but he ain't gonna get you.
Hold on, Cole, I hope you watching. He said in the chat, y'all got to comment on this because he said he Brock. He said he Brock Purdy 1.0.
Accurate description. No, like I ain't even mad at it.
Hold on, wait, hold on, Chuck, because he got to explain this. What is Brock Purdy 1.0?
Brock Purdy, like I said, this thing is like when you got an old coach, you know what I'm saying, and he ain't got much to say to you, and it's like he don't want to shake you up. You're a young cat, you know what I'm saying. He get out there, he snatches to the side, he tell you, he put you aside, like, hey boy, don't F it up, you know. And that's what it is, and that's how you play. You playing to not be the guy who got to sit there at the press conference and explain nothing because it's like you want to say, I don't go told me to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
wait. So you said that's Brock Purdy?
yeah, but without question. Like I said, even down to the Super Bowl, which was a magnificent Super Bowl, mind you, but Brock Purdy just got in there and didn't have it up. I'm telling you.
Just game managed, don't turn the ball over.
Exactly.
So
he Trent Dilfer the thing. It's a whole line of these boys. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't think Dak is the same thing? Him and Kirk. You don't think they fall in the same thing?
No, because Dak be sitting there rubbing his head like he lying his old lady, man. I'm telling you. Dak be sitting there like, I don't know what happened. We got
Dak give you them throws, you be like, wow.
You feel me?
You don't see that from Kirk and Brock and Purdy them. Dak give you them like you.
I mean, all
like,
right, not Brock.
And I ain't even a Cowboys fan. I can't stand them.
Dak play like he need a running game.
Hold on. Wait.
Dak needs a running game.
Right. I got to get past the Brock Purdy 1.0 because he killed me on that, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm saying, isn't the result the same? Because Kirk Cousins, he don't turn it over. Okay, I give you that. But isn't it the same? Isn't it the same in the sense as far as the result? Great regular season quarterback. He gets a lot of yards. Minnesota will win the NFC North, but they'll get to the first round, second round, and do the same thing. Now, he may not throw 4 interceptions like Dak, but this is what Kirk Cousins does for me. This is the difference. It's the same result, but here's the difference. Dak will throw 3 interceptions, 400 yards. Kirk will throw 2 interceptions, 300 yards. But the difference is this. Even though Kirk don't have as many turnovers as Dak,
they were big turnovers.
It's when he turned the ball over. Which still produces the same result because you can look at Dak and say, interception second quarter, interception third quarter, interception, fourth quarter.
It'd be snowballing. Yeah.
Right.
Dak can
Right.
put them fourth quarter numbers up.
But then Kirk will throw one where it's like the whole game changed. And they still both lose you the game.
The difference is this, bro. Dak.
And see, I agree with Jamal. He said Cousins has never won in primetime Sunday Night Football, ain't won.
True.
Monday Night Football ain't won. It's the same thing.
True.
It's the same thing.
Bro,
it's just Dak's look.
It's
because
coaching.
Dak played for the Cowboys and it looked worse.
It's coaching. Exactly. It's coaching. They allow Dak to fall flat on his face, stand there like a deer in the headlight, look like, okay, I don't even know why all this happened. And then Kirk, gets sit there and they go talk to the coach. They go talk to Mike Zimmer. They go talk to somebody else that, is different, a different fall guy. And he hasn't been exposed. So it's like he might be getting the corporate treatment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't want to do the.
So you're saying okay, so what it sound like what you and Chuck saying is y'all would take Kirk over Dak. Because they the same to me. They the same. Listen, I'm telling you.
For what I got to do, yes. For what I got to do, yes.
Hold on.
Yes. What does Kirk do on his previous Dak playoff team?
The same thing.
You think they first round exit?
Same thing. Because Kirk Cousins to me has been doing the same thing his whole career. It's just that he play in Minnesota. Nobody really cares. Dak Prescott gets in the playoffs because everybody in Cowboy Nation and the national media, they go 12-5. He looks impressive. They win the division. Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. And then they lose to somebody like Green Bay, and it's like, bust. But Kirk Cousins been doing the same thing in Minnesota. I'm just saying, it's like nobody expects Minnesota to win. So it's not so bad. But to me, Kirk Cousins is just like Dak Prescott. There are moments in the regular season, it's like, because we did on the show one time, we broke down Kirk Cousins' stats, and it's like, these are Hall of Fame numbers. Never been to a Super Bowl. I don't even know if he's been to an NFC championship. And it's the same result. It's like regular season king, playoff.
So what do you see with the Atlanta acquisition?
Same thing. Like, I go back to my whole example of the kid we was talking about from the Rams. With him, and that's my point about him and Dak. They middle the pack. And if any team thinks that you can just say, okay, we only going to give him this, and this. Like if he goes to Atlanta and they just give him, okay.
His last stop.
I'm saying Atlanta, for me, this is my point. And I'm saying,
get a job
I'm saying this to the Falcons. If you picked him up and you ain't going to do nothing else with that team, you just wasted your time. You got to load that team up. Yeah. You got to block for him. You need a running back. Well, not even necessarily a running back, but you need a good receiving core. You need a possession tight end to catch the ball. You need a stout defense. If you could do that, Kirk Cousins can. Huh?
The best thing happened to him is he'll back up.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about with these quarterbacks. That makes my point.
So
that's
you're saying Dak will back up.
I think if you put him on the team, okay, Dak Prescott, and we know it here in Houston because we had Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Texans told us, even though the rest of the league told us that David Carr. I mean, is it David Carr?
Yeah, David.
David Carr. No, I'm not even talking about him. I'm not even.
You talking about Mills?
I'm talking about Shaw.
Oh, Matt Shaw.
The whole league told
Mills, Shaw,
listen. All them guys.
O'Brien,
but I'm talking about the Patriots South run.
Denver.
Right. Yeah. So that's my point. That's my point. The Patriots South run for us. Shaw, Malik, Fitzpatrick. I put all them guys. Kirk Cousins. I put all them guys in the same category. They middle the pack quarterbacks that are really second string quarterbacks. But again, I go back to the Rams example because the Rams understood it was a golf, right? Mm-hmm. The Rams was like, you know what? He has not shown us in Detroit, wherever he came from. I think it was Detroit. Him and Stafford flip-flop. Mm-hmm. That he cannot do. So what we gonna do? Load up the defense. They brought in Von Miller that year. Mm-hmm. My man has always been there. Aaron Donald. They loaded up the defense.
Jalen Ramsey on the corners.
They loaded up the receivers. They overpaid for running backs, and they won a Super Bowl. And that's what I think Dak is. That's what I think Kirk Cousins is.
And that's what you got to be prepared to do. Just like my man said.
That's what I say. For me, Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta, they could win the NFC South. His ceiling is they'll win the NFC South. He'll pass for a lot of yards. But if you think that what you just got going on right now with Raheem Morris and everything,
Case Keenum.
Exactly. You know what? That's why we got to get you back because you brought Jamal. I like Jamal Jones, man. Case Keenum has won more playoffs than Kirk Cousins. Exactly.
Hey, shout out to G, man.
Exactly.
Happy belated, my boy.
Exactly.
Happy belated.
So, that's my point. He's a middle of the pack quarterback. And I think the same thing about Dak. I think the same thing about Kirk Cousins. I think the same thing about Baker Mayfield. That's why I always tell people all the time, and Cole get mad at me. Baker Mayfield, high draft pick, I always thought he was a middle of the pack. You know? So that's my point.
So the 3 year $100 million you wouldn't have done.
Well, here's the thing. Just like Dak, and I said this before, you're gonna overpay for a quarterback. If you got a decent quarterback, you got to hold on to him.
NFC South, you might as well.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. You could be out there with Dak Prescott or whoever's going to step up. Think about the Patriots. What they got going on over there? You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. You either stuck with, okay, you got Mahomes, Burrow, the kid from Buffalo, and then you got a bunch of substitute teachers after that. So which one you going to pay for? You going to pay for the sub that come there more than half of the year, or you going to pay for the sub that show up 3 times a year? You going to pay for the one that people are familiar with. Because it's like, even though it ain't a real teacher, hey, they committed, and if we get them some things, they can make it through the school year. You see what I'm saying?
It fits your system.
Exactly.
You know.
And that's what most NFL teams have to come down to is like, when you get a great quarterback, you definitely got to overpay. You get an okay quarterback, you're going to overpay. The Cowboys probably didn't want Dak Prescott, but they had to overpay because, like, who you going to get? You know what I'm saying?
Market.
Exactly. So, you know, it's you know, that's my point about these quarterbacks. And people got to be realistic. Like, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, the kid I was talking about from the Rams. That's the majority of your league. Is your average guys. And it's up to you as a GM to make your teams good enough to where you minimize them playing outside of themselves. Exactly.
San Francisco, the perfect example.
Right.
That's where y'all got Purdy from. I don't know how y'all got so high on
and
Purdy.
San Francisco is a great example because Shanahan and them knew that let me load up with this kid. Let me load his tight ends up, his receivers up, because if we can keep him loaded up and just say we draw him up a specific package that will highlight his strengths and hide his weaknesses. We're not asking you. That's why it was such a great play when he kind of scrambled out. I think in the NFC Championship, he kind of scrambled out. They didn't script that. But if he can do that every now and then, great. But listen, check down.
Give the cap.
Check down. Yeah. That's why we got him over here. An MVP candidate, offensive player of the year. Yeah. We got Debo over here. When he run a simple route, just throw the ball to him. Don't do nothing fancy. Don't get outside yourself. And that's why I think the Cowboys, they asking Dak to do too much. It's like, no.
They're looking like Mark Sanchez.
Exactly.
Shout out to Cole. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. San Francisco is a perfect example. Shout out to you for that because Shanahan get it. Listen, man. Every series on your wristband is scripted. Don't go outside of that. You got a hell of a multi-purpose back. You got a hell of a tight end. You got a hell of a receiver. And you got a stout defense. All we need you to do is not turn the ball over. Now, if you make a play, that's great. Because this is all designed to make you look good. But don't be out here trying to listen, man.
Don't be telling all that truth,
Exactly.
They're gonna snatch you off the street.
And that's why I think people need to understand about Dak. Like when Dak get to doing all that, he doing something with his head. When he get to doing, I say he finna turn it over. You know what I'm saying? Because he finna try to do something outside.
It's his warm up.
Exactly.
Y'all seen the warm up, the hip warm up, man. Like, nah,
when I get to see him doing all that, I'm like, they gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's what the NFL is really made of. The majority of it, it's like anything. It's like America. It's made up of C students.
Yo, square business.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's made up of C students. Like why you expecting everybody to make an A? They don't have no. The majority of people.
I need you to make a C. I need you to pass.
That's your ceiling. But if we get you enough books, get you in the right classes, and you go here,
the right teacher.
Exactly. You go here and you go to the office hours after class, you will pass. And that's what the Rams did when they won their Super Bowl. That's what the 49ers did. So that's my point. That's all I'm saying. It's only everybody need to come. It's only 5 quarterbacks that you can say, make it happen.
Give it.
Hey, Mahomes, we ain't got Tyreek this year.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah, man.
Who y'all got? We got this dude from Idaho State. He can't catch, but he fast. Make it happen. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, no disrespect if anybody played at Idaho State, but it's just my point. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think it is, man. But with that being said, Chuck, let's talk about these free agents because everything hit me today when I sent out this show. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I send the show out every day on Sunday night. And every time I do that, Monday, something big happened. And it make it look like I ain't being responsible. You know what I'm saying? So, Chuck, let's go through a couple of the free agent signings. I mean, for one, I think I got it right here. Saquon Barkley, Jesus Christ, did he not do the Giants dirty? And the thing about it is, it's not him so much leaving the Giants, but he went to a division foe, which is a no-no.
Can I interest you in Saquon Barkley to the Eagles? Whitehall High School, Allentown, Pennsylvania. About an hour and a half up the road, depending on traffic. Saquon is going to the Eagles. Thanking everyone on a tweet for 6 years with the Giants. Penn State, Saquon Barkley.
Stop right there, Chuck. I got to say something. Hold on. You know what this is like? And I hate this. This is what I hate about the NBA. We finna get to them next. But this is unheard of. We all 90s guys, right? That's like Jordan going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not even the same conference. It's the same division. Like, that's disrespectful. Like, I see why Tiki Barber, I don't know if it's Tiki, whatever the Barber twins that played in New York, but like, you could have went to the 49ers. You could have went to
You got to
Houston.
go to the other conference.
You going to the other team and we got to play twice. Yeah, he's stuck it. All right, play that. I just want to add that. So play that. That's dirty. You my man, though, Saquon. That's how I know you really wanted to get out of there. Because you was like, I'm going to Philadelphia.
Give me the deal.
Yeah.
Breaking news into CBS Sports HQ, Russell Wilson plans to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It'll be a 1-year deal with the Broncos still on the hook for $38 million this season. Russ threw for 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions for Denver last season before being benched by week 16. He now looks for a fresh start out in Pittsburgh.
All right, question for you. Just in the spirit of what we just talking about. Where does Russell fall in your Dak and Kirk Cousins kind of ranking?
Great question. Because here's what I'm saying. And I'm glad you asked that because when he was struggling in Denver, that's what I kept saying. I'm like, you know what? The only thing that we got on Russell Wilson, the only successful case study is Seattle. And when I'm talking about Seattle when they won the Super Bowl, right? Now, when he was at his best, okay, and some people will argue this, and this will be a debate probably later on in another podcast, another episode, and hopefully we get you back for this one, Larry. But some people say, what is his best time in Seattle? When they won a Super Bowl, he had Lynch, All-Pro. He had one of my favorite defenses of all time, the Legion of Boom. And then I think Baldwin was there. He had a pretty good receiving core. And that's when they won the Super Bowl. And that was in the era where they went back.
Lockett might have been there.
Lockett might have been there. And then, of course,
Yeah,
there's
young Pete Carroll. I ain't gonna say young, but fresh from college Pete Carroll.
Well,
he came with a
from
whole different
USC,
energy.
right.
Yeah.
But again, some people say at that time I just named was his best was him being a game manager. And what I mean by that is not saying it in the exact same light as Purdy, but you had one of the best defenses of all time, in my opinion. You had a stout running back, so Russ didn't have to do too much. Now, he was short. He rolled outside the pocket, and he would make good throws. Nothing great. Now, some people say that's his best time. Some people say when everybody left, when Seattle, when he was just there, Lynch left, the Legion of Boom, they still went to the playoffs, but he had better stats. But again, they didn't get to the Super Bowl with him taking us to the promised land. So you see what I'm saying? I think, and some people say in Denver, I think he falls in that second tier too. Because what has he really been outside of a stout defense? What Dak has, what Purdy has, what Trent Dilfer had when the Baltimore won, Tampa Bay. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm bringing light to, because it's like he's not a top guy. You see what I'm saying? Now, Pittsburgh, well coached. If they can get to the playoffs with Pickett and the other guy, they damn sure can get there. But again, we're not asking you to be outside of what you was in Seattle, your best years. We got a stout defense. We got some good receivers. We got a hell of an offensive line, because that's what the NFL mostly is made of quarterbacks. Yeah. I think Russ falls in that same thing. Now, it don't look bad as Cousins sometimes, but realistically, that's why I was asking him with Kirk and Dak, they really not that much difference. They same thing.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So I think Russ is the same way. Why do you think Pittsburgh is saying, in my opinion,
1 year?
1 year deal.
Yeah. Because the word is out.
Yeah.
The word is out. The verdict is like
now,
the experiment.
Now, we like you. You're a great guy to have in the locker room. You had some great years in Seattle. It didn't work out in Denver. 1 year. Now we're going to load up. And don't forget, we got a Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame defensive coordinators. I don't know if LeBeau is there anymore. I might be out of date with that. But we stout over here. Yeah. All we need you to do is come with that Russ. Hey. Keep the Sierra. We're not getting no office. Keep the Sierra thing. We about business here. Because here's the thing, Russ. We have won before you got here. Yeah. You ain't Mahomes.
And we ain't asking you to be.
We not asking. We ask you to play Pittsburgh Steelers football. We want you to hand it off, and we don't want you to turn it over. We're not going to have you throwing the ball 15 times. We'll have you throwing it 8. And you could take a shot down the field. But 1 year, because we don't know what you got left in the tank, but we're willing to gamble on you.
And at least he got out the division, because I was like, I heard he was looking at the Raider job at first, and it was like, I don't know. Like you said,
it ain't enough over there.
A quarterback leaving one team to go on to another team in the division.
And it's
you talking about bulletin board material for life. That's a death wish.
Exactly. Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's like, he ain't going to do nothing over there in Vegas. At least not in there. They ain't stout. So, glad you asked me that, though. Yeah.
Let's get into some sponsors.
All right, let's go to the sponsors. Take a break right quick.
Yo, rep the movement with Mo Serious Fashions. Copy your fresh snapback or hoodie or a tee. All represent the Mo City Podcast, Debate with Bake, or Gloves Up, Guns Down. Everything is custom made with love from our top-notch manufacturers. We got a dope range of colors and sizes to fit your vibe. Everything from blue, red, green, black, white, and more. Rep the Mo and keep it fresh, fam. Hit up moseries.com/merchandise and order today. Let's go.
Men's Fragrance, your home for 100% authentic men's cologne. We carry high-end fragrances like Creed, YSL, Gucci, Polo, and more with below retail prices. All orders come with free shipping. Order online at mens-fragrance.net. Men's Fragrance. Smell good for less.
All right. Shout out to our sponsors. You can check us all at moserious.com. Shout out to Chuck. Go on moserious.com, cop a shirt, a cap, and look real fresh, smell real fresh. Want to give a shout out to Laro in the chat for bringing it in with us today. We're going to get into the association, but shout out to everybody that's participating, man. We appreciate it. We want Laro to come back. We want all our hosts to come back. Shout out to Cole. Hope you get better, but let's get into the association. We're going to get into the association. And what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA. And then we'll get into a little bit of boxing talk and we'll get out of here. But again, shout out to Larry, man, bringing the heat. We appreciate you coming through. All right, let's get to it. I got to get to the association. I love this. I love the debate in the association. All right, let's be honest. Now, I'm biased. I want to ask this questions and I'm using numbers. Who's been better this season? De'Aaron Fox, who was a snub at the NBA All-Star game, which I do believe he's one of the top 3 point guards in the NBA, but I'm biased. He's from Houston, the Katy area. Shout out to D Fox. Shout out to Coach Trey Austin, who coached him at AAU. But who's been better, De'Aaron Fox or Anthony Edwards? Now, before everybody says Anthony Edwards, let's look at some numbers. Points per game so far. De'Aaron Fox, 27.2 for the Sacramento Kings. Anthony Edwards, 26.4. De'Aaron Fox, 4.2 rebounds per game. Anthony Edwards, 5.2 rebounds per game. De'Aaron Fox, 5.6 assists per game. Anthony Edwards, 5.1. De'Aaron Fox, 1.9 steals per game. Anthony Edwards, 1.3. And then, of course, percentages 47, 36, 71%, 46, 37, 84%. All right. Now, I asked this question because, of course, and I want a lot of people to think about this because at the end of the day, there's some similarities, but in particular, people are going to always say Anthony Edwards because he's an MVP candidate. And I respect that. But what I'm saying is when you look at these numbers, and let's break down what each player does for each team. Now, Edwards, and you guys help me out with this, is more of a 2-guard set up to score points, whereas Fox, I think, has to do a little bit more in Sacramento. I think he has to score, plus he's a point guard. But who, in your opinion, looking at numbers, and you can throw in some media coverage, and Chuck, you back me up on these numbers if I'm a little bit off. Who you think has been better this season?
Still taking AE. Just got to, like I said, not really. Shout out to Swiper. But now what AE doing in Minnesota of all places, again, not to be picking on Minnesota, but them Timberwolves clacking. And then with Cat going down recently, the focal point he will remain in the spotlight a little bit more. Like De'Aaron, he's unsung, people want to believe he's got a lot more to work with than he does at 10 sack.
That's a good point.
But he doesn't. And then they're solid, what are they, 5, 6 at West right now? In a very competitive, different looking West right now. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Fox. Shout out to De'Aaron, but he's ascending like Jason Tatum did. He's climbing to another pole, whereas I don't think Swiper has bottomed. Swiper's ceiling is still mad high, but I got to rock with AE. Just
And so you saying what I'm hearing with AE is because of, and I could give you this if this is what you're saying. I think this is what you're saying. It's the trajectory of the Timberwolves, what they've been doing this year, and the fact that one of their big 3 has gone down. So it's more about what he's doing for that team and keeping that team at the top of the West. I can understand that. It's a debatable.
Because De'Aaron been up and down with injuries, right? He's been in and out the lineup.
Right. Chuck, what you think? Who you taking?
It's tough, man. It's tough because I like Fox. I rock with Family First. Shout out to Gasto. You know what I'm saying? I like fact that he an H-Town product. I like all of that. And,
that's why I say I'm a little biased.
And not just that, like we look at the 2-man game. Edwards do got Cat over there, and Fox working with Sabonis. You know what I'm saying? And it's the reason like they number 1 and 2 in the West for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like they were top. They went back and forth for about a good week. Now we number 1. You know what I'm saying? And so it's tough. But the reason, to answer your question, the reason I'm probably siding with Edwards is because I watched that boy hit his head on the rim.
Ooh, I saw it.
You know what I'm saying?
I saw that.
And
blocking a shot.
Bro, and not just blocking a shot, in the post-game interview, he said, I ain't never jumped that high before. And I was like, oh, he it. Bro, he it. Like, when you start doing stuff you ain't never done before for the sake of winning.
Chuck, because he could have got higher there. He could have jumped higher than that and hit his head on the rim. I ain't never seen that.
I ain't never seen Fox do nothing like that, fam. And I've been watching a lot of sets.
All right, but I mean, that's optics. I get that. But let me ask you this.
Bro.
If we switch, if
and the 3 he hit before the block. The game
I know, but them plays, I know. And that's why I asked the question, because
shout out to Fox, man. Shout out to Swipe.
And y'all got to remember this. The media coverage that's going on with Minnesota, which is well-deserved. They at the top of the division. Nobody had them. At least I didn't have them.
I didn't think the Gobert and Cat situation would work.
Exactly. I knew it could work, but I just questioned Gobert's heart at times. You know what I'm saying?
He's still getting choked.
Exactly.
And the verdict is still not.
Exactly. So I question that. Did I think Anthony Edwards would be this good? I did, but not this early. I didn't think he would be turning the corner this quick, because I knew he was a superior athlete. I questioned his shooting, which he really surprised me. He really surprised me. I mean, and I think, to me, that's the sky the limit. It kind of reminds me of a young Jordan, where when Jordan came in the league, no doubt, the energy, the athleticism, but I kept saying, and a lot of people were saying, and Jordan answered it, I always go back to the 92 finals, which I think the 92 year, the second year, was the greatest year, because when Portland played them in the finals, and I'll relate this to AE, what Portland was saying, and that was the Gatorade commercial when he hit the 6 threes, was Portland was saying was, we could prepare for his athleticism and his energy. But when Jordan set himself further away from the NBA, is that what Portland kept saying is, we can't do nothing if he shoots like that, because he wasn't a consistent shooter. And so when Jordan started to, for me, when he started to go from this is the league, him to him being here, is that he shot the ball well with his athleticism.
And an extremely efficient 45.
And see, I thought Ant would be the same way. I knew he was a superior athlete, but I didn't know he was going to shoot this well this early.
And he's been consistent. Popeye. I remember Cat was getting on him. You know what I'm saying?
But I will say this. That's why I say what y'all both make great points, because he's doing some things that, again, for me, the shooting, even the highlights, I knew he was capable of that. I didn't expect him to get that far. But I brought this question to mind because I feel like Fox, for me, and again, I'm biased, but again, you got to think about Fox in this sense. I feel like Sacramento, because of the small market, doesn't get the media coverage. And then the year that Minnesota's having as far as his coming out party was last year for Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? I thought Fox definitely should be in the All-Star game. I thought he got snubbed out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, if you say point guards in the NBA, who's better? Bronson may have been playing better. Halliburton might have been on that level.
Better numbers.
Right.
Well, but comparative numbers.
But again, it's arguable.
What that kid doing.
Right. It's arguable that Fox is right there with them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you top 3, top 2 in your position, you should have made the All-Star game. But again, I say this. If Fox, you got to remember Fox is a point guard, 27.2 points per game. The thing that sticks out to me, and I think he should be in consideration, he's not going to win, but defensive player, you know, all the steals he's gotten.
Way more steals
than
Edwards.
Right.
Way more rebounds than Edwards.
There you go. At a point guard.
At a point guard.
And so that's why I say I could give the edge to what Larry is saying and kind of what you're saying in terms of what Minnesota has been able to do as a team. He's the focal point of that team. But if you're talking about numbers, if you talk about stats, I still say Fox has been a slight bit better. I'm going to say for Edwards, the impact that he's had on the NBA and the impact he's had for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Because that's the point guard bias. You know what it takes to do numbers like that and that contribution to that team. So you identify with that a different way.
Exactly.
I can understand.
Exactly.
For
and,
sure.
and you got to remember that. And then you got to remember, I mean, they don't have much in Sacramento other than him and Sabonis.
And to still be putting up numbers like this and still be
and then he hadn't been healthy all year either. You know what I'm saying? And I think if Fox is not there, I don't think they in the playoff hunt.
Not at all. They behind us.
Yeah,
they behind us.
Right, and even then, some people could say that about Anthony Edwards because see, for me, Anthony Edwards is this. It's always the old school for me. I used to talk about with the MVP conversation. It's like who's the best team and who's got the best player. Mm-hmm. It's him.
It's easy.
Him in Boston, Minnesota and Boston. I think stats for the debate, I would say stats. I still say Fox is better. I say impact is Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards could
He's
really
a game changer. He reminds you of Jay Way. He really does. He really does.
Exactly. So what he's been able to do this year, the impact that he's had on the NBA, I think it's Edwards. But I do think Fox has better numbers this year.
Shout out to the crib, by way.
Yeah. All right, let's get into NBA duels. Let's rank these NBA duels 1 through 4. We got 4 here. Steph KD, Jordan Pippen, Kobe Shaq, LeBron D Wade. 1 through 4, the best duel to the worst duel on this list. A, Steph and KD at Golden State. Of course, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen at the Chicago Bulls, the 90s Bulls. 6 championships. Kobe and Shaq in the 2000s, 3 championships. And then you got LeBron and D Wade. Did they win 2 or they won 3? I know they went to 3.
I think they won 3.
Did they win 3 in Miami?
I think so. No,
they won 2. They went to 3
and lost 1.
They lost Dallas. 1, Dallas, right? With Dirk and Jay Terry. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's rank these NBA duels. Who's number 1 for you and why?
I'm rocking Jay Way and Pip number 1. I mean, it's proven. Thing is, because I thought about it 2 different ways. I thought about them playing an NBA Jam, white men can't jump style, a 2-on-2 tournament, and trying to look at it like that to rank them. But then, like I said, on a superficial basis with the chips, it's like Jordan and Pippen on top, Kobe and Shaq, Steph and KD, and no, I take that back. I'm sorry. LeBron and D Wade, then Steph and KD last.
Ooh.
I just got to do it like that.
Okay, tell me why you took KD and Steph last.
They only got 1 chip together. They're Magic, but they only had 1 chip.
Did they only have 1? I thought they had 2.
They went to 2. They lost the other one to Brunson. Kyrie and them beat them in the 70s.
Nah, didn't they win 2 chips?
No, KD got 2 chips.
He got 2. They went to 3. They went to 3.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. They lost 1. Okay. They did lose 1.
So he's got 2.
He got 2.
But the one that they lost, KD wasn't there.
He got hurt.
KD wasn't.
Remember when they all started breaking down? Clay had the Achilles. They went
in the game.
They went
to Bron and them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Was it Bron and them or
Bron and Kyrie?
Yeah. You still going with them?
Last.
Okay. Why you got them last?
Because of the matchups it presented. Then I got into just who would stop who. Because like I said, Kobe and Shaq probably the most dominant pair.
It's a good point. Great point.
You talking about Jordan and Pippen, you got 2 dogs out there, but there's only so much that Pippen finna take unsung, and it's like he get exposed at a certain point. LeBron and D Wade would be a great match because at their peak, both of them freakish, absolutely just crazy, And if D Wade feeding LeBron, they were able to play through one another differently than I've seen LeBron play since. It's kind of like the LeBron Kyrie relationship, where it's like he only has certain guys that it looks like that with.
Right. You're right. Great point.
Steph and KD. Steph's proven he can play with anybody. KD is attempting to prove he can play with anybody.
Great point.
Taking nothing away from KD. Taking nothing away from KD.
That was going to be my point.
KD, that dude. And Steph is that dude, respectively. And Steph is the closest thing to what we had in the 90s with loyalty and team play. You know what I'm saying?
Great
You
point.
got that goes in there too, because Steph is the Warriors. Steph
Right.
is Golden State. So, that being said,
I'm with you.
That being said, I got to rock with them like that. I mean, Jordan and Pip the most accomplished.
Yeah.
But they lock up with Shaq and Kobe, they might have a problem.
I'm gonna say Jordan and Pippen number one, just because, and this is one of my things.
This is Jordan.
It's Jordan.
Not put Jordan.
How do you
Well,
not? How do you not?
And
How do you
again,
not?
nobody else won in the 90s but the Rockets when Jordan was gone. Like, no, that's what people. When people talk about the Jordan LeBron debate, that's what I kill him with. Nobody else won when Jordan was at the height of his powers. Like, you got people, no disrespect to LeBron. I mean, they two different type of players, but San Antonio had a run during LeBron.
Yeah,
Golden
Steph
State
and Bron
had a run.
sharing an era.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They sharing an era.
Period.
And people got to remember that in the 90s, nobody else won except the Rockets. And that's debatable because Mike wasn't there. But nobody else won.
This sum up the 90s perfectly. You got about 10 different guys could have been the best ever.
Right.
But you got one.
Right. Exactly.
When we
Great
know
point.
who he is. We know who he is. We saw it.
Meanwhile, in this generation,
We saw
we
it.
got 10 different guys, and it's
Right.
arguable.
Right.
who's the
You
best
feel
ever.
me?
Right.
You know,
That's what I'm
everybody
saying.
got a point.
Like,
So
nobody else won in the 90s. Kobe and Shaq, simply because, I mean, kind of like what you're saying is dominant. And I mean, those 3 years they ran through the NBA. It wasn't even close. It just wasn't close. And then for me, it's the ultimate guard center.
in synergy.
Right.
Like,
everything. Like Jordan and Pippen is wings. It's big wings that can post up, pass, do everything. But Shaq and Kobe is like, you got a guard that can do everything. And you got a big man that was nothing nobody could do. And
So what if I was to spice this up and add like a combo like my guy from Boston, Ticket and Pierce?
No. Because here's the thing. That wasn't Ticket's best years. His best years was in Minnesota.
Yeah, when he took them to a final.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me. I'm not saying he was a big part of Boston winning, but
when he was a freakish athlete,
right?
Then,
And see, like Jordan and Pippen with the Bulls, the height of their powers. Kobe and Shaq, especially Shaq. That was Shaq's best run. That was when he was most dominant when he was in LA. He was good in Orlando. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but when Shaq was most stoppable was when he's with the Lakers.
catching lobs,
Right.
getting the head up.
To
above
me,
the rim.
LeBron and D Wade, I think LeBron was at the height of his powers with D Wade. Steph and KD, I think all these guys on this list, these four right here, this is their prime.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could do anything with them in their prime. That's why I put them on here.
It's a good list because
Yeah.
I'm sitting here running through combos in my head.
Right.
I'm thinking like
Right.
Stockton Malone.
Like,
I
I
don't
even-
know if they do anything with any of them.
Right,
No,
exactly.
couldn't do it.
Right.
And then you can't put them in there because they don't have
win.
championships.
Well, yeah, Jordan eliminates them, right?
Right.
But what about a Magic and Kareem?
That's a good one. And I try not to do that. I try not to do that.
We be at night.
Yeah, I try not to. I deliver because it's like,
Yeah, because then, yeah.
I mean,
You know, that's tough. That's still tough. I mean, I might put them up over KD and Steph. Now, shout out to KD and Steph. Them my boys. But, hey, man.
well, and then for me, like, I'm with you. I got them number 4, and I'm gonna tell you why. For me, when I look at Jordan and Pippen, they did so many things for that team. Defensively, passing, shooting. Kobe and Shaq. Kobe did so much for that team. Shaq did so much for that team.
Was it the same system? Was it the same triangle?
Yeah.
Same
It was a
coach.
triangle
Yeah.
offense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whitfield Jack.
LeBron and Wade, the same thing. For me, Steph and KD, and this is why I give KD flack because, and Shannon Sharp brought it up when he used to be on Undisputed, and I've said this years before he said it, but he articulated it way better than I did. But what I said was this. The Golden State situation worked out so well because, and I believe this is my criticism of KD. When you go to Golden State, it worked beautifully because that's what Golden State needed. They needed somebody who could be an isolation player. They remember, and I credit Steve Kerr for this. their one, the one thing about their run that was so magnificent, it was that, to me, just my opinion, Steph and Clay are really shooters.
Yeah.
They really not guys that you get a ball to and say, make a bucket for us.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
Steve Kerr, being a shooter, understood that. It worked for Durant because they needed an isolation player. They needed somebody that can just go get us a bucket.
For space.
Right. Nobody on their team. I'm talking about one-on-one. Remember, for a while they were asking for Harden. They were asking for guys that could just make shots because that's what they missed. For KD, the reason why he couldn't win any other places is that he's just a scorer. So the structure has to be set for him to win. All he had to do, and that was my criticism of him, all he had to do was score in Golden State. He didn't have to rebound. He didn't have to defend. We just want you to score. We'll take care of defense. We'll take care of passing. We got shooters. And Steve Kerr understood that about Steph and them. It's like, we're winning, but we got to rely. And for us to get buckets, we got to run Steph off screens. We got to run pick and roll. We got to run. So that's why I said
this is not conducive to postseason success.
KD was
over and over.
Right. And then remember, KD, that's where he messed himself up, is that he was like, I'm going to leave. I don't need to be with an established team to win. And I'm saying to myself, yes, you do. You do. That's why when you went to Brooklyn, it didn't work. Because you didn't have guys playing defense.
You had 10 guys needed the ball in their hands to do what they do.
You didn't have defined role players. I feel the same thing about Melo, about his career. You're a scorer. Go somewhere where the network is established. And so that's why I ranked that dude as the fourth, because everything had to be set for Kevin Durant. All he had to do was shoot. And that's what I keep telling people his whole career. That's my knock against him.
Fast forward today, what they lost last night.
Right.
Matter of fact,
now, and here's a prime example of him and Melo, what they got bad. 55 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. You 7 foot tall.
7 turnovers.
Right. I ain't even tripping about the turnovers. You can't give me 10 rebounds?
Yeah. And you 7 feet tall.
You 7 feet tall. You can't
jacking.
Because that's what he want to do. And that's fine. Be an Iceman. I'm a scorer. I get buckets.
Period.
And so that's why I ranked them down there. Jordan, Pippen did a LeBron and Wade. They all did different things. So I'm with you. Jordan, Pippen, Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, D. Wade, Steph, KD. All right. Let's skip the Team USA because that's going to take too long. Let's do about 2 or 3 more topics and then we get out of here. It's been a great show. All right.
Hey, before you jump over, the homie John Evans say, could Chicago, I lost it, there we go. Could Chicago take Houston in 1995?
Here we go. I knew it was coming. That's why I was trying to hear it, because I knew somebody was going to bring this up. I knew somebody. Listen, we could do a whole show on that, but John, this is what I'm just going to say. I'm biased, but Michael Jordan, to me, and I get it. Somebody gonna hit me with Vernon Maxwell. But you gotta remember, Vernon Maxwell was good on Jordan for 1 game. Jordan is undefeated in the NBA Finals. I'm not going against Jordan. I know we had the African. I know what y'all gonna say. Bill Whittington, and none of them could check the African. But I'm not going against that man. I just can't do it. And I'm from Houston. But let's not get into that, because that's a whole show. Okay, we're going to do a show on that, because everybody say that in the 90s. That's the biggest debate. Who would have won?
Because I go back deeper. I take it a little more super. Well, no, we ain't even going there.
Just say who you think will win.
I got to ride with the house.
I knew he was going.
I got to ride with the house. And I'm going to tell you, it's one reason why, because we'll set it back to the historical backdrop. It remains to be seen whether or not Jordan was really playing baseball, or whether he was secretly suspended or banned from the league and couldn't have played. Plus, my man, the African, was at the height. Nobody would have beat the African on that same note. So,
but in a 7-game series, nobody beat Jordan.
This is true. Well, they did.
I'm talking about
not this series, not these series.
I'm talking about when Jordan was there, man. We ain't talking about the baseball comeback, man. Come on, man. The man was playing baseball, man.
It's hard to take an animal like that, or like you said, to pick against an animal like that. But we was here. It's hard. That's another animal. That foreign animal.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Nobody, listen.
And the thing
Nobody.
is, I don't know how real the quote was. I read an article one time that this came from the ghost's mouth. The ghost said, "Man, look, I'm so glad."
Yeah, no. He was right. He's like,
You know,
I'm glad we ain't got to deal with the African. We ain't got nobody for him. Right. I get that. But here's the thing. Like,
but then we have to throw in the fact that we in the H couldn't get over the hump. We struggle with the Utahs and with Seattle and the teams.
I was about to say Seattle.
Jordan hit like a bus.
Because see, I'm finna hit y'all in the head with this one. Listen.
They got murked.
Listen, hold on. Wait. But see, and I ain't gonna lie. I give a shout out to the Denver Nuggets in 93-94 because we could not beat the Supersonics.
Ooh.
And that team, I mean, I'm H-Town love, but Earl Cureton, Charles Jones,
Chris Gent.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. We want slim pickings. Like
now, 95-96 with Clyde.
Oh, we were rolling.
And we came back. We was a 6 seed.
Shout out to Nick Anderson, man. Shout out to Nick Anderson because, man, it was.
I still think we would have won.
We would have. It was All-Star in San Antonio, man. At the Hooters on the Riverwalk, man. That boy. Man, let me know. I ain't showing made, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man. Shout out to Nick Anderson. Like I said, you gave us the chip, and then you looked out for a couple young fellas in the San Antonio. No doubt.
But you ride with H-Town? Which year? Because y'all can't say the 93 oldest story.
I had to be the Clyde.
What we betting? Lunch money? Are we playing 2K or something?
The 95 year, the year Clyde was here, definitely that year. Because that was it wasn't about Vernon, it was about the Clyde and MJ matchup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which I still say MJ.
Yeah.
MJ
at that point,
MJ solidified that in the 92, but I ain't, he said on the last day, he said Clyde was a threat. But
on the fire slammer jam on
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. That would have been interesting. That would have been a good one.
That's our best shot to win was that team. 95, 96. 94, 93, 94. I mean, was it 94, 95?
Was Ori still here?
Yeah. Ori got both. He was there for both of them.
Who we lost? OT? Vernon? Who we lost?
OT, Vernon.
And Sam Cassell.
No, Sam Cassell was there. He was there.
He was here for both too. Yeah.
That following year, Sam and Robert went to Phoenix. That's when we went with Charles and Scotty.
When Ori, did Ori throw the towel in Buddy's face? When Ori threw the towel in Dan Ainge's face and the coach's face. Man,
that was the second year. Yeah. That's when Mario blew the kiss of death.
Yeah. Y'all gonna be dying, and I'm telling you, because I got them little fly references. Like I was trying to tell you, y'all were talking the other week about Alvin Robinson. I told you, shit, Chuck read it. Man, that was Shaq's first fight in the league. Little 6'4" Alvin Robinson got stole on by Shaq in rookie year. I was like, whoa, I don't remember much about him. But he took a punch and retired. That boy ate one and retired. I ain't seen him no more after that. He might be a Hall of Famer, Bake. I don't know. But you know what? I know he can eat a punch. That boy got a mean chin.
Like Laro said, we ain't never seen nobody take a shot from Shaq like that. Shout out to Laro, man. Because you did say it in the chat. I was trying not to read it because I was laughing.
Got a mean chin.
Oh, man. But yeah, what's up, Coach Trey Austin, man? All right. So we're gonna debate that one time. We might do that on the next show. All right. Let's get back to it because y'all got me rolling over here, man. All right, let's do a few more. Then we gotta get the box. I can't let this go. All right. Should the 76ers shut down Joel Embiid for this season? We on number 10.
In today's NBA, absolutely.
Why? Why should they shut him down?
Because they see what they got now. He's already banged up now from playing too much, chasing regular season awards. I'm trying to be eligible for the regular season awards. It's like the pay structure and the way they got it going on is all messed up right now. Because it's like either you're going to sit and try to win and do this game management thing, or roll the dice, really. Because it's like you sit, boys, all you want, get to the playoffs, they get in there and pull a hammy or something like that as soon as you adjust from – because the usage rate gonna go through the roof. It's a catch-22, but in today's NBA, I'd say if you really want to shot, but they didn't fail so far out of contention now at this point.
That's my point.
It's like, you just continue to develop Maxey and maybe hope to move another guy in, maybe to help him out a little bit more. Hope he doesn't become disgruntled. I mean, they in a tight spot, but I say you certainly shut the process down. You got to.
I think you shut him down, too. I think you shut them down because, and I'm saying this for this reason. The 76ers, they've got to figure out a way they got to figure out something for him. he's been hurt every year. They got to figure out a workout plan. Maybe it's a nutrition thing. They've got to figure out something because they've invested too much into him. Now, he's one of the best players in the league, no doubt. But the thing about it is, if you're Philadelphia, you do need to shut him down because you got to sit down and figure out what's going on. Now, I think part of the problem for Joel Embiid, and this is another reason why they should shut him down. The problem with Joel Embiid is this. I think Joel Embiid has become very good late. And what I mean by that, when you become very good late, you don't know what your body can give. You don't know what can impact you. And I think he's going through a season of, I don't think he's ever had to work this hard in his life. Right. And so I think it's up to him. I do think they shut him down. They shut him down because they need to figure out what next year is going to look like. What is the nucleus going to look around him like? Who's going to step forward? Who do we need to go with in terms of trades and free agency? Shut him down, but they need to do their homework, and he needs to do his homework too, because this season is over with. And even if if let's just say they were to get one of those last spots, they're not gonna get that far. But they need to. I think this is an opportunity they need to figure out. He needs to figure out. They need to figure out a game plan for him. Whether it's drop 30 pounds, whether it's change diet, whether it's, and I can't imagine what they'll do as far as his skills. I think it's the weight. I think he needs to drop some pounds. And what I mean by that is when you think about Tim Duncan, the reason why he hung around so long in San Antonio is he dropped weight as he got older. I think Embiid is just too big. I don't think his body can take that. He's a big, heavy guy. And, of course, it reminds me of kind of like not the same body type, but the same result when Yao Ming was here. He was just too big. He was just too big, and he's playing year-round. Maybe it's rest.
Yeah, the wear and tear is different.
Yeah, maybe it's rest. Maybe it's more rest. I think it's the weight. But I do think they should shut him down because they've got to figure out he's their franchise player. They've got to figure out how they can fix this. The guy has never played a full season, and he's too young. He's too young. He's not even 35 yet. And so they got to figure it out.
Yeah, they definitely sit them. I'm checking out the standings. Yeah, they dropped to 6th.
Yeah.
And they literally 1.5 games from not being in the playoffs.
You feel me? So that puts them in like a series with who? Like Cleveland or something?
Yeah, they'd be out of the first round.
Yeah, they were or Boston. Yeah, Boston, Milwaukee, or Cleveland.
Why do it?
Right.
Why put that man through that? That ain't going to make him hungry.
Right. That ruins Maxey. Yeah, because now he might get hurt because he got to overdo everything.
Right. Or as soon as it comes up for him to get some money, boy's gonna be making a run at him to make him the man somewhere and lure him away.
Right.
And they got Daryl Morey, so the track record.
Right.
I don't know. We're gonna see.
Right. Which some things, I question him. Because he was the one. A lot of people don't like it, but he was the one that and people think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, I'm not crazy. I've said it before. He made James Harden a superstar. I always thought James Harden was what he is in LA or what he is in Oklahoma City. He's a great supporting cast piece.
All-star, not a superstar.
You don't build your team around him and say, give him the ball and make the plays. Now, with the Clippers, because his athleticism has decreased, he still can pass well, he still can score. But I always thought, because this is what I said Oklahoma City did. James won 6th Man of the Year, and him and his agent went to Oklahoma City.
Everybody's second unit. Yeah.
And then they went to Oklahoma City and they said, look, this guy can be a superstar on somebody else's team and average. And Oklahoma City said, well, go ahead. Because we don't think that's what he is. Mm-hmm. He is a guy that's offense first. If he gives us something, great. If he doesn't, we got 2 superstars that are going to be consistent and give us MVP-type numbers every night. He's a 6th man. A great 6th man is the type of player that if he gives us something, we're over the hump. If he don't, we don't rely on him.
Can I argue that? Only because my guy did average a whole triple-double for a whole season.
But you got to remember how he gets it. Because
that was Houston. That
yeah,
was
but that's what I'm saying.
D'Antoni, that was that system.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. To me, you don't build your system around a scorer who has to dribble the ball 15 times every possession to score. And here's the thing. This and I hold Harden responsible because this is my reason why. In Mike D'Antoni's system, where he's been in Phoenix, where he's been in other places where it's been offensive explosions, he always tells his top players, he never tells you there's not a shot you can't shoot. He just designs an offense that you can get more shots.
Mm-hmm.
His philosophy is let's get up as many buckets as possible. So for me, I hold James Harden responsible because here's the thing. This is my biggest criticism about him in Houston, and Daryl Morey bought it too. You're 6'5", 6'6". In an 82 game season, regular season I'm talking about, the way you score your points, it's volume. It's 15
We watched them burn out every year.
Right. And you know why? Because it is hard to score like that all year long. Think about this. Every time you come down the court, you on the perimeter. It's 15 dribbles. It's 15 dribbles. It's a step back. Now, it looks great. It sells tickets. But when you get in the playoffs and those legs start to go, that's why the high percentage shots always win in the playoffs. You mean to tell me Mike D'Antoni would have told him, this is what I would tell James. Just like Kawhi Leonard, just like Michael Jordan, even Kobe Bryant. The way you shoot free throws, catch that ball in the 15-foot area, face up, 2 dribbles, layup, foul, you shoot 90%.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most unstoppable shot in the game? 15-foot pull-up.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to stay on the perimeter. And then when you get to the second round, you run out of gas. Well, if you on the perimeter all 82 games, dribble, you ain't going to have no legs.
So you're right. My only argument against that is that, and I only argue this because I was at Game 7, you know what I'm saying, when Chris Paul got hurt and Golden State, like we was in the stadium at Toyota Center, and that James Harden and that team, I feel like had they got to the finals, they would have beat Bron them. But they had already beat them 3 times in the regular season.
I agree.
And so, but to the strength of what you're saying, he still got tired.
That's what I'm saying.
He still ran out of gas.
And for me, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the great scorers score different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Kobe, it's layups, transition baskets. It's 2 or 3 threes. It's post-ups. It's foul shots. It's not all step-back threes. It's not all, and that's why I say for me, he's a volume scorer.
Good.
You don't build your team around volume scorers. You build your team around efficient scorers. You see what I'm saying? Can you get a bucket from anywhere? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to shoot like that.
What was he shooting that step back? Kind of.
I mean, it looked good. I don't know. In the NBA,
it had to have been low percent.
Well, and here's the thing.
Super high.
It was because, and then you got to remember this. You got to remember this. It was blown up too because the NBA, they were selling tickets off
changing at that point.
Him and Steph were the poster child for the offensive explosion. It's the same thing in the NFL. Mm-hmm. They stopped the defenses. They were going for Mahomes. Let's score. Yeah. So the NBA, they sell their product behind it. You know what I'm saying?
The other day, I said the step back was so entertaining and so powerful that the league made it legal. Because when Reggie Miller them used to do that was a travel, fam. You know what I'm saying? The whole gather step, that's a travel, fam. You know what I'm saying? And so they was like, hold on, this is an amazing move. We gonna introduce the gather.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
NFL, right. We gonna
right. And so just to my point, it worked with Dream because Dream was shooting a higher percentage shot, mostly in the post.
Yeah, for real.
And Dream could hit jumpers. But the thing about it is, Dream
open him up,
right?
To
and
have
the thing,
10 different moves,
and you build your offense around somebody.
He was two-way. He's the ultimate two-way,
right?
player.
And you build your offense around somebody that can make high percentage shots on a consistent basis, but they can't stop him one-on-one, so he would pass it, and that was easy. It was like either you gonna double team me, and I hit it out. They hit their shots. You can't guard me one-on-one. Even if I came back down Shaq, I can hit a turnaround jumper.
James Harden is Lou Williams, but for the
That's what I've been saying.
but for the situation.
That's what I'm saying. And that's been, people get mad at me. I say, if you tell Lou Williams, no matter what you do, we're gonna put the ball in your hands and we're gonna go by you. He'll have some nights where he score 50 points.
For lots of them.
Like that's what I said.
It's been a lot of Monte Ellis. It's a whole lot of them. Like
and for me,
that.
and for me at that time in the NBA, it was Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, Eric Gordon, and James Harden. Between those four, 6 man of the year, they were all winning it.
Yeah, period.
Because
on any year.
Because they were coming off the bench and they were scoring specialists.
And giving boys second units work.
Exactly.
Anytime, because they were like,
exactly.
I go back to the 80s. My dad and them used to have me watching them old bad boys team. There's a cat named Vinny Johnson.
Yeah, microwave.
Yes, you feel me? Microwave.
Instant bucket.
I'm cooking.
Instant bucket.
Anytime.
Right.
Anytime.
Right.
Anytime.
Right. And you got
to warm up on.
And that's what people got to remember about basketball. Scoring is one aspect. There's a difference between scorers and most valuable players. You know what I'm saying? So not anybody.
That's why KD haven't won.
Exactly.
That's my biggest criticism about him, because he has the tools to be a most valuable player, but he preferred to score.
Melo with a couple of rings.
Melo was been same thing.
That's what I'm saying. He Melo with a couple of rings.
And I played with Melo. I know how strong Melo was. Melo should have been killing people on the block. You talking about a hard person to guard?
Yeah. And he did, but he didn't get to that till later.
But he wanted to do this.
But he had it. He had it from Oak Hill on, though. Yeah. He had it back in the game.
You should have seen it when we played him at Syracuse. It was nothing. Nobody could do with him. That's why I know that. That's why
and he was a freshman, huh?
That's why I understood him. Why they would win the championship. Because when I played against him, I'm like, he's not just getting buckets. He's big.
He's doing what he wants. He's 6'8". Yes.
Yeah. He can rebound. He can pass. So it's like, this guy should be an MVP candidate every year. Ain't nobody doing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I thought he was going to be better. Like when he hit Denver,
but he
took the ball to the playoffs.
He fell in love with scoring.
So was that him or was that George Karl?
It's him, because the rest of his career was like that.
I mean, just kind of like in Houston, right? Like was that James or was that D'Antoni?
It's James for me, because in D'Antoni's system, if you get a chance, everybody that played in D'Antoni's system, there's one guy. In Phoenix, it was Steve Nash. There's one guy that he put the ball in the hand. He says, "You do whatever you want to do."
He coached the Knicks too.
Yeah. Did he ain't had Melo up there? He had
Howard Isley.
Yeah, but if you think about if you think about his systems though, and I'm talking about Harden and Nash. If you look at what they really do, he put the ball in their hand and say, "Whatever you want to do offensively,
rock it." Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, on the rock.
So it's just and D'Antoni's system is layups and threes. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me he was going to tell James, don't shoot 15-footers? Don't go to the free throw line?
Bigger fool as he be acting.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's get to boxing and we're going to wrap it up, man. It was a good show, man. All right. Let's talk about let's go to one thing and then we'll go to the clip after that. All right. I got a deep question for y'all because I want to answer this question. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with boxing lately, but as you can see, Canelo Alvarez has gotten out of his PBC deal. Now, according to multiple reports, Chuck, Canelo Alvarez signed a 3-fight deal with Premier Boxing Champions. When we talk about PBC or Premier Boxing Champions, that's the promotional company that has Tank Davis, Earl Spence, the Charlo twins. That's the promotional company that brought us the big fights.
That's Bob Arum.
No, Bob Arum's with Top Rank. That's Shakur and all those guys. But PBC is Gervonta Davis, Earl Spence, the Charlo twins. Crawford was over there to fight Spence on PBC. Okay. PBC, a lot of people would say that's where all the top black fighters at. Okay. Other than Top Rank is known for the young up and coming, the Shakurs, Abdullah Mason, Bruce Shoot Carrington, Jared Anderson, the young and upcoming. PBC, they saying that's the established, that's the pay-per-view star. Okay. And some people think PBC has been running the game. All right. Now, the biggest thing that PBC has done for us lately has been Tank and Ryan. And then Bud, Terrence Crawford, signed a deal to fight Spence because Spence is on PBC. Crawford had to agree to join PBC. Lately, the biggest deal that was in boxing, promotional-wise, was Canelo. Everybody knows that Canelo moves on his own. He's the cash cow. To me, he's still the face of boxing, okay? He decided to do a 3-fight deal with PBC, which means he would have 3 fights for a certain amount of money. Now, the 3-fight deals was supposed to be, we found out, we didn't know who it was. It's supposed to be both Charlos and Spence. Now, the problem would happen. Canelo just got out of this deal. And the reason why he got out of this deal is that PBC, Al Heyman, did not keep their end of the bargain. And what I mean by that is Canelo was promised to make $35 million to fight in one of those fights. And it was supposed to be the second fight. We found out later that the 3 fights that he was supposed to have was both Charlos and Spence, okay, which has been with PBC the longest. So I can understand why Al.
Falling apart.
Well, here's why they fell apart. Jamel, who he fought, shit the bed. He shit the bed. Jamal, he got his alcoholic problems.
Yeah, he got legal.
And that's the main fight that Canelo said, I'm backing out his contract because he's supposed to. Jamal was supposed to be the next fight. Well, Al Heyman was like, I'm not giving you Jamal now because he ain't in no condition to fight. We didn't see him drunk all the time.
He's going to a facility.
Right. And so Canelo was like, well, sis, like, that's that
he needs.
Right. And Canelo was like, well, that's the fight you promised. And so you not giving me Charlo. They tried to amend the deal, meaning PBC was like, we'll give you Benavidez, which is the top 168. And Canelo was like, nah, that wasn't a part of the deal.
At all.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to scrap. I wanted a bag.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's what y'all promised me. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez wasn't in the deal. Because a lot of people saying Canelo dug. I don't necessarily believe it, but I understand why people say that. Because Canelo, you the cash cow. You can fight Benavidez. You can make a deal happen, right?
But you can also move how you want to move.
Exactly. And that's what I tell people. If Floyd can do it, Canelo should be able to do it, right? So here's where everything went wrong. This is the question I asked. Everybody in PBC, including across the whole boxing world, thought that Earl was going to beat Terrence.
Yo, we all thought that.
Yeah.
In here. Me, James, we was at your house like, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you was the only one.
I was the only one
house.
that was saying, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because, so, come to find out, and I've said this before, I haven't said it on air, I thought Earl, if I'm Earl, because everybody was banking on Earl. Everybody was banking on Earl beating Terrence, and then Earl was going to get a cash fight with Canelo, Texas Stadium. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, my question is, and I believe this, did Terrence Crawford mess up everything?
Oh yeah. He obliterated the whole. He busted the deal open out of Omaha. Like shout out to Omaha, man. That boy did that, like systemically, like
right.
That was almost like an Avenger movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The way he bled boys and dismantled that whole thing. Like, man, I don't know whether PBC was a super villain. I'm not sure exactly what role they were trying to play in terms of matchmaker gatekeeper, but it backfired on them. Like I said, because they bet on the wrong one. They loaded up the wagon on the wrong one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like Bake told y'all, like easy. Canelo backing out that easy. I can get money anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm finna get a bag wherever I go, regardless.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. With that being said, right, now everything is scattered. Terrence, that deal he had with Spence on PBC was set up for that first match and then the rematch.
But see,
Spence is not able to fight. He had another eye surgery. So Crawford is out of that contract. He's independent. Canelo's out of that contract.
You let him go belly up.
Charlo, Jamel, he punked out in the Canelo fight. He didn't give a good. Jamal is done pretty much. Well, I mean, he can still fight, but he's not in the condition for a Canelo fight.
Yeah.
The only person they got left over there is Tank.
Is Tank a big enough draw?
That's one of my questions. Can PBC survive? Because here's the thing. Spence is pretty much done. We don't even know if Spence is coming back. Yeah. And the way he got his ass whooped, I don't know if he's coming back.
I don't know if he should. I really don't know if he should.
The Charlos are Jamel can bounce back, but who wants to see Jamel after what he did to Canelo? Now, nobody expected him to beat Canelo, but we expected a better performance.
Showing.
Right.
It was the showing.
Right. It was a bad showing.
It was the showing.
Right. Because here's the thing.
Like you from H-Time.
Well, and here's the thing. He went up 2 divisions. I never thought he would win, but I thought he would try to win. You know what I'm saying? Jamal is he's in bad shape. I mean, he's coming back, but he's not, which is pretty much, so all they got over there is Tank and Benavidez. Now, can Tank carry PBC? How does PBC rebound from this?
I'd say they honestly can. At this particular point, in this particular era, and on this particular date, they can ride it out.
But how do you rebuild them after this? Because you had Terrence. The Terrence deal was you was banking on Spence. See, Spence was your cash cow. Spence was supposed to be Terrence, and whether or not they had a rematch, it didn't matter as long as Spence beat him. Even if Terrence came back and won in the rematch. And then you had it set to where Spence would fight Canelo.
Is Tank too small to fight Bud?
Yes.
Much too small?
No way that could happen.
I'm not whether you win. Could they make
they wouldn't. They would never let Tank do that. Tank is 135 pounds. Bud is 147. See, and that's the thing about Bud.
He's a true welter.
Well, and then here's the thing about Bud. When he moved up to welterweight, 147 pounds, he went on the 11th Street knockout.
Yeah, I see. That's something when you coming up from a smaller man
that's the thing.
Into a different division, a bigger division,
and you're knocking everybody out.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. This is Tank enough? Is Benavidez enough?
You gonna have to. Them boys gonna have to fight. Well, nah, it's really not enough to survive on because you got them boys just circling one another, really.
And so what's the solution? Do they gotta sign more people? Do they need to how do you think they fix it?
Well, here's how I think they fix it. And this is my point about PBC. PBC, which is Al Heyman / Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd does a lot of business, and I got on my question here, is PBC turning into the money team? Because you don't know who's over there other than, the young sensation Carmel Moulton, but he just had 3 fights. Here's my thing. And I've been really criticizing PBC because this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. You got to do like Top Rank. You got to get some young superstars. Everybody that's over there that I just named, Canelo, Crawford, Spence, Tank, they all 35 years old, 30 to 35 years old. They all got 2 or 3 big fights left, and that's it. Other than that, there's no young talent over there. No young up in. We were talking about Abdullah Mason. Over at Top Rank, Abdullah Mason, Bruce Shushu Carrington, Santillion, Jared Anderson, upcoming American heavyweight. There's a whole
Haney over there?
Nah, Haney, and see, that's the thing about Haney, the way they move, Haney independent too. What Haney is doing, and that's what I tell people all the time. I'm always pushing Haney because Haney is the one that's moving the best business-wise. Haney signed a couple of deals, 3-4 fight deals with companies, whether it be Matchroom, Top Rank. He was with Matchroom, Top Rank. He never went to PBC, but he signed these 4 fight deals. But the difference between Haney is that Haney delivered. He took the tough fights and won the belts. Mm-hmm. See, the problem with Tank, and I always criticize Tank because Tank is the only really up. Spence is gone now. It's Tank that's holding PBC down. But the problem the way he moves is Tank moves like Floyd. The problem with moving like Floyd is
Floyd. The big fight.
Well, not even that. Floyd has 2 big periods in his career. Pretty Boy. From the time he started to the time he became money, Pretty Boy fought all the tough fights.
Without getting hit. That was his thing.
Right. And he didn't duck anybody.
Yeah.
Now, what Pretty Boy did when he became money, he beat Oscar De La Hoya. When he beat Oscar De La Hoya, everything came to him now. Now I can move. I can fight whoever I want. The birth of the green print, the black fighter versus the Mexican fighter. Or you know what? I move the way I want. The problem with Tank's career and a lot of those PBC fighters, they want to move like that without that Pretty Boy career. Mm-hmm. Take the big fights.
Have them fights first.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Take the big fights. Because at the end of the day, you moving Tank, and that's why I say you moving Tank the way Floyd moved Tank. Tank didn't fight all the top guys, though. He didn't fight Haney. He didn't fight Shakur. He keep fighting flat-footed Latinos. Now when you run out of that, and that's why I say the more he waits not to fight Haney, the more dangerous. We're going to get to that sparring next, and then we're going to close out. The more dangerous it is because guess what? You getting older. You older than Haney, and Haney getting better. You 32, Haney 26, 27. Haney undisputed a division. You got one belt because you keep moving like Floyd.
Have boys seen the tape? Y'all seen the tape?
My fault. And then we're going to close it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good time to
so let's talk about the sport, and then we got to get out of here. We had a long, good show, but it's good. It's good. We had a long show, but it's good. So this is the tape, and I want y'all to look at this tape. Now, before we started, Chuck, let me tell everybody this, because this sparring has been aired, and it's been Ryan Garcia ahead of his fight with Devin Haney showed this to kind of make Devin look bad. But I want people to understand this. This sparring match took place, as you can see, the ring apron is at the Mayweather Boxing Club in Las Vegas. That's the doghouse where Mayweather trains and his fighters train. Now, at this time, Tank was brought to Floyd Mayweather by Adrian Broner. You'll see him in this clip. Part of the money team. This is when Tank was 20 years old, and this is when Haney was 16 or 15 years old. Now, this famous sparring, it was a bet between Devin Haney's father, Bill Haney, and the Money Team Associates, in particular, Adrian Broner and his people who fall under the Floyd umbrella. But the bet was whoever loses or tire out wins the money. Apparently, Haney did. But Ryan Garcia, who was set to fight Haney at April 20th, 420, by the way, in Brooklyn, the Barclays, he aired this footage to try to make it seem like Devin was the one who looked bad. Now, keep this in mind. This is a small clip. This is not the entire footage of the sparring. This was only released. But I want everybody to remember this. Tank is in the white shirt with the white cup on. Haney is in the red shirt with the red cup on. Both have headgear on. But keep in mind, this is a young Tank Davis at 20 years old, and this is a 16-year-old Devin Haney. That's Tank in the white t-shirt giving Devin work. Floyd right there. And Devin definitely lost his round. Okay, that's Adrian Broner right there. You can hear the shots. Body shot. Counterpoint. Body shot. All right, now.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make
Now
money.
again. Now, what do you see when you see that clip?
I see a young man standing on business, man, getting a very, very valuable lesson. Like I said, it's only more impressive that the man was 15, 16 years old in there, to be honest. It's like, Mr. Garcia, I just don't quite understand the antics. They've been throwing a lot of drug abuse, a lot of mental health awareness. It's a lot of things being thrown around, but I just don't quite see your motive in behind doing something like this. Because if anything, like I said, I know we were all together when we saw you and Tank lock up.
Yeah, we were there.
And you grown. That's a child in there. Not necessarily even holding his own, but doing a damn sight more than you was doing.
Exactly.
So put that where you want, but I'm over the moon by Devin, man. Devin is it right now.
And see, and that's my point. My point is this. I see now, did Devin lose that round? Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Is he getting his ass beat? Hell yeah. But people got to remember, like you said, Laro, the dude is 16 years old. That's a lot of heart. Now, you in there with pound for pound, the best lightweight in the world. And he is putting it on him. And the fact that what I see in that video is a kid that's refusing to go down. Mm-hmm. And
learning ring generalship,
exactly,
controlling space. Now,
exactly. You in a hostile environment and you getting pounded on by pound for pound. This is Floyd's fight at the time. This is when Tank was with Floyd. And it's like, I see a 16-year-old kid scrambling but refusing to go down. And it makes sense to me why Tank wouldn't fight him now. Because now he's 25 years old. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't drop him at 16, and now they saying Haney is a weight bully. Like they said, Haney just fought Regis at 140. Took Regis' belt, which is the WBC. They say he rehydrated up to 165, 70 pounds the night of the fight. And that's why Tank be wanting them weight clauses. Mm-hmm. But it makes sense to me why Haney could be in the 135 division for years and Tank be in that same division and Tank would never take a fight with him. Mm-hmm. Because when I see that video, it's like if you couldn't put him down when he was 16,
what you gonna do with him now?
That means you can't put him down now.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
If anything, you flirting with a loss.
Exactly. So now it makes sense to me why he don't want to fight Haney or why they keep detracting from fighting Haney. When I watch the sparring, it's like if you can't drop a man at 16 years old and the man has done nothing but gotten better. Now he got his grown man strength, his grown man body. It's like
his grown man
confidence. Exactly.
Like he didn't undisputed.
And then it's like this. If I'm 16 years old and you can't drop me and I got championship belts, yeah. So it makes sense. But I mean, for me, the PBC, can they come back and then we'll wrap up? I think they can. It's just, it's how they do business. They do a lot of pay-per-views. They follow the business model of Floyd. And it's like, people got to remember, you can only follow the business model of Floyd if you're doing what Floyd was doing. And a lot of these that's the wrong with boxing. A lot of these young fighters want to be like Floyd. They want to fight twice a year. Well, Floyd had to earn that. Y'all want the back end of his career. Y'all want the money career, but y'all don't want to do the pretty boy. And that's what's going on with a lot of those PBC fighters. They only want to fight twice a year because they want the big payday. But it's like, if you fight twice a year and that's all you fighting, you're going to have to do pay-per-view. You can't have an off night. Nope. You can't have an off night. And then at the end of the day, because PBC has such a large stable and everybody want to do that, a lot of guys ain't fighting. So, I don't know, man. Canelo gone, Terrence gone, Spence out, Charlo's done. Another guy, Matisse, at 140 just left. I don't know. I don't know if Tank can carry it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's get to the shout-outs when we get out, man. I want to say a shout-out to Xavier Worth of the University of Texas for setting the NFL Combine record with a 4.21. Shout-out to LeBron James for being the first player in NBA history to crack 40,000 points. And then shout out to Caitlin Clark, man. I mean, we might have to start calling her the best of all time, whether it be men or women, for becoming the all-time NCAA Division I men's and women's scoring leader.
Yeah. Broke pistol record.
Yeah. We got to start mentioning her. We got to start mentioning her in the GOAT conversation, whether it be men or women in college basketball. Shout out to USC's Juju Watkins, as she passed Caitlin Clark for the fourth most points by an NCAA Division I freshman at 801, and that was of last week. So she's did that.
Ain't done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's shout out to both Mike Tyson and Jake Paul for finalizing a boxing match on July 20th at the AT&T Stadium in Texas. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, it's on Netflix and it's free. Boxing is coming to Netflix. Now listen.
That's a huge deal.
That's a huge deal, Chuck. And you know that.
Big deal, bro.
Being in business, doing this, Chuck, you know that's a huge deal.
And this is Netflix's first experience with a live event.
And here's the thing. People can say what you want about Jake Paul. What I appreciate about this, I don't even care who wins, is bringing eyes to boxing on a big platform, which is Netflix, and it's free. It's not pay-per-view.
Well, indirectly, right? You got to be a Netflix subscriber.
Well, that's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
But
But
all
you got
intents
Netflix
and purposes.
Yeah.
right. But if you don't got Netflix, you know somebody that has Netflix. I mean, shout out to that. Mike is like 50, but we got to give Paul his credit, man. Like, yeah, is it another YouTube type fight? But it's bringing eyes to boxing. It's bringing eyes to boxing. It's bringing people out. I mean, it's on Netflix, Chuck.
Did you hear what Mike Tyson said?
What's that?
Tyson said, you know, when I was fighting Roy Jones, I brought out Paul on my undercard.
They got a connection. He kind of helped start.
Yeah,
Jake
like he said. So now I'm finna knock him out.
Yeah. But just
I
knew you would
to the
appreciate
strength about Jake Paul. That's the point I'm making.
Right.
Like he been doing this,
and I knew you would like that because of the business aspect of it.
I was like, Netflix, that's big time.
Boxing.
They both finna get a nice bag. You know what I'm saying?
Because anyway, they finna be after that. They finna be on Prime.
Yeah.
They finna be. Everybody finna follow suit, and all of a sudden you gonna have a nice little resurgence. And
Business wise,
Yeah.
I just wish we could be there doing interviews there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's in AT&T Stadium, and they plan
Jerry's
on,
World. Okay.
and they plan on feeling that, filling it up. That's gonna be a big task, but with those two names, I think they could do it. And it also depends on the undercard too. So shout out to Jake and Mike for that. Shout out to the number one college basketball team in the land, your Houston Cougars. Let me get a. And we don't have time to go through all the awards, but we know Jamal Shead is Player of the Year at Big 12. But shout out to the Cougars for clinching the 2023-2024 Big 12 regular season championship and keep moving on. And then shout out to my man Anthony Joshua for knocking out Francis Ngannou in the second round this past weekend over in Saudi Arabia.
I should have bought that clip up. I'm talking about them.
And I'm so happy because for all you UFC dudes, because Ngannou, you know, he knocked down Fury. They was like, I'm like, okay. Shout out to Joshua for putting his hands up for boxing. I don't knock MMA, but I'm more of a boxing fan. But people that's coming over from the octagon, and it's probably the same for boxing going over to the octagon. But remember, when you cross over, when you get in there with somebody that take you serious, Fury didn't take him serious. Joshua did. That was one of the most beautiful overhand rights I've ever seen. Beautiful. Beautiful. His legs gave out.
Landed flush.
Yeah.
Big base.
Yeah.
Knees was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do at this point.
Yep. But anyway, man, shout out to that, man. Shout out to Laro for coming through, man. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate it. It was a nice, long show.
All the time.
We had a great time. We didn't even get to all the topics, but whenever you want to come back, man, if you want to come back in on Mondays, you know, we would definitely come up. We definitely could use you anytime you want to. And that's anytime. I'm gonna send you
Worldwide Southside.
Okay. I'm gonna send you a show thing every week, whether you come through or not. But definitely come through. Shout out to the chat. You brought the chat with you. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Stay active.
Yeah, shout out to Cole. Cole, we miss you. We can't wait to get you on here next week. If Laro come back, but I definitely want to get you and Laro in here on some debates because it's gonna be real good. And shout out to my female co-host. Cannot wait for her to come back. Please say
if you can't pull up but you want to hop on, I'll shoot you the link.
Yeah.
And we
No
got
doubt.
you. Yeah,
No doubt.
And please, my female host Shayla, please come through this week.
Shout out to Shayla Hudson coming soon.
That's right. We're looking for her to not only be on Debate with Bake, but also some more podcast opportunities on MoSerious.com. But shout out to Chuck, the hardest working man in show business. Shout out to the chat, Laro, Shayla, Cole, to the audience, Coach Trey Austin, Jamal Jones. We appreciate your participation tonight. To everybody. John Evans, Malik, all you guys, man, always come back. We appreciate you coming through, showing support to the show. And we're going to keep doing it again and again. We're getting ready for college basketball. We're getting ready for some more boxing, and we're getting ready for baseball. Got a guest coming in for baseball pretty soon. So we're going to keep rolling on, man. Extra long show, but we appreciate it. Sometimes when you're doing it, you got to do it. But shout out to everybody. That's it with episode 22, season 2, Debate with Bake, and we out.